Because of time, I will not introduce the entire team today because we want, we have a hit. You would like me to introduce them? All right. Chapter leaders, kindly come over. Chapter leaders, Winnie, kindly come over. I'm going to just introduce my team quickly. Chapter leaders, come on. Come on, chapter leaders. People Power is an international, it's a global thing. So I will introduce one at a time. Where's Chicago? Chicago is here, okay. All right. Oh, you good? Okay. All right, I'm only saying this because we'll talk more later, most likely tomorrow. You'll hear from me more tomorrow, but I'll just quick introductions. My name, I'm the team leader of the diaspora, and as I already said, my name is Hamana Ineviona. So, this is only a pinch of the entire team. Brenda Nakato from Colorado, from Toronto. I hope she gets here soon. But this is mostly North America, mostly the US. These are the people that mobilize, that organize, that sensitize. Those are the three visions of the diaspora. We do three things in the diaspora, and we do have orientations. Once you come to become a team leader, we do have orientations, and in that maybe 2 or 3 hour phone call, we tell you three things: organize, mobilize, sensitize. That is all we do as a NUP. First of all these members are volunteers. No one gets paid. So if you're, including myself, if you're out there and you want to do this, you really want to do this, kindly sign up and start doing work, because this is a very important part of democratically changing or peacefully changing government. All right. On the far end, Winnie Muwonge from Minnesota. Give it up for Winnie Muwonge. And our MC for the night, California chapter, Aisha Nachijoba. Our power. And the husband who lets her do the work. Yay! There we have Helen Nandaula from Chicago. There we have Daniel Tomsange from Texas. Mr. Zakayo Nsubuga from Florida. He's also our chief whip in our weekly meetings, so that guy mobilizes and organizes those teams. Mr. Charles Chibulabuza, finance from Minnesota. She works very closely with Evelyn, Winnie. She works very closely with Winnie in Minnesota, so that's the finance. Bena Nachitio from Colorado. Our power. Karim Tambi from DMV. People from DMV. Hey. Mr. Joel Semakula from California, who's the finance person for California. Mr. Joseph Senyonjo from New York City. Madame Fiona. Fiona from North Carolina, but she works very closely with the BC team. Yes, Tina Miwonge. Our power. Everywhere. Tina is from Pennsylvania. She's married to a gentleman from back home. She is a passionate, if you follow her on Facebook, you know. Yes, and then Madam Dorothy Stewart from Boston, who is hosting us today. All right. Yes, Mr. Saidi Langa from Seattle is also here from Seattle. I also want to specially recognize Madam Grace Tiweneka from Seattle. Stand up, Madam Grace. Yeah, all of you, when I look at the faces, I almost know, you know, all of you have made contributions, but these guys give a little bit more. They dedicate a little bit more. And I beg us to dedicate a little bit more, Let's not come and sit. Let's all be busy getting more people in this room. Let's all be busy working together to grow this, because this is about us. My personal motto is, it begins with me. It begins with me. So take that motto from today, and Ebidala will speak in cha. Okay, so that's my brief. Thank you all, team. I want to hand it over to the MC quickly so that we can have this event flowing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. At this moment, I would like to welcome the Secretary General from NUP in Kampala to come and address the delegates.
People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. Diaspora team leader, chapter leaders, ladies and gentlemen, very, very delighted to be here this morning, and I've been asked, most importantly, to introduce the team from Uganda. But before I do that, I really, really want to appreciate you and thank you all for coming today. This is a historic event in the history of our country. We are seeing the diaspora come together today to continue the struggle against misrule and dictatorship in our country. And I want to appreciate you so much for the event yesterday in New York. I think that was phenomenal, that was very big. And I think the world had the people of Uganda as they cry out for justice. Comrades and friends, I want to introduce a team that I came with, beginning with the indomitable Deputy President of Northern Region, Honorable Dr. Lina Zedriga Waru Abuku. Come here, come over here. So she is, as you know, the Deputy President for Northern Region of NUP, and she likes to say something. Oritia? Oritia! When she says Oritia, we say Orio. Oritia! Orio. Oritia! Oritia! Thank you very much, Mama Lina. I want to introduce the Honorable Jole Mujisha. She's the Deputy President, NUP, Western Region. She is all the way from Arua, all the way from Barara. People power! People power! NUP! Mwena mwebale mnonga! Mwebale kwisha! Thank you so much. I want to introduce another powerful woman, my deputy, the Deputy Secretary General of National Unity Platform. She's also the woman member of Parliament for Butambara District in the Parliament of Uganda, Honorable Aisha Kabanda Kalule. She is right here with us, a firebrand in her own right. You want to say something? People power! Our power! There's a person we like to call Saba Zoganyi, the head of mobilization. Honorable Chairman Nyanzi Fred Sentamu is the National Mobilization Secretary of NUP. Please come over here. Everywhere. NUP.
here. Unity, be united.
Yeah, I thought he was going to sing his favorite song about Zoganya, but maybe that will be later on. We have another serious Muzoganyi, and when we say Okuzoganya, I hope you all understand what that means. Rabble rousing, you know, rabble rousing in a good way. So we have our head of the youth wing of the National Unity Platform and People Power. He's a member of parliament from Mityana municipality. He's also a commissioner of parliament in Uganda. He has been one of those most beaten and hit by Museveni, but he has not given up. Honorable Zake Francis Butebi. Honorable Zake Francis.
People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. Yesterday. Yet to see you.
Yeah, Honorable Zake, yeah. Then we also have the head of women in People Power, member of parliament. She's a woman member of parliament for Kasanda district in the parliament of Uganda, Honorable Flavia Kalule Nabagabe.
People power, our power, NUP, everywhere, Echagulanyi, President of Uganda, People power, Boston,
Thank you so much. And we also have Honorable Kayemba Solo. He's a member of parliament, also a minister for sports, and very, very pleased to be here with you today, Honorable. Naye Muzoganyi in his own way.
People power. Our power. Greetings from Bukoma and Simbi. United we will win, divided we will lose.
Yeah, so comrades and friends, this is a team that we came with from Uganda to attend this event. It is very, very unfortunate that our president was not able to be here, but he is with us, he's following us live, he's also with us in spirit, and of course he brings his greetings to you, and he will be speaking to all of us later on. Also, greetings and apologies from our other two deputy presidents, Honorable Matthias Mpuga, who is a leader of our team in parliament. There are also some logistical issues in terms of the visa processing and all that, so he was not able to be with us, and also our vice president from Eastern Region, the Honorable Nambeshe John Baptist. They are also with us in spirit, and they are following this event, and all the other leaders of the National Unity Platform and People Power. I want to just use this opportunity to thank you all for the great work you are doing. Maybe the president will put this in better words, but I can say that without you, the diaspora team, we would never have achieved even the little that we were able to achieve. This has been a journey. We know we are not where we used to be, and one of the most important factors that has helped us is the diaspora team. So we thank you very much in every way possible. We have emerged, as you know, out of a very violent and irregular election where many of our people were killed and others injured. Up to now, we have very many people who are missing. So I want to take this opportunity to encourage all of us, or to request all of us, to observe a moment of silence for those our friends who are not with us, who are put out of action by the regime, and those who are still missing, whose whereabouts we do not know. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Amen. Finally, friends, I know that I'll have another opportunity to speak maybe later on today or tomorrow, but I want to use this opportunity to appreciate you both for the moral support, the strength that you've continued to exhibit, and most importantly for mobilizing, fundraising, and doing all that work. But above all, I want to appreciate the welfare effort. You comrades have been taking care of so many of our people who are injured, who you know, who are sick. You've taken you've taken care of burial expenses for our people who have been slain in the struggle and all that. So we want to appreciate you on behalf of this team here and on behalf of the leadership in Uganda. I thank you all and God bless you. People power, our power. I am convinced beyond doubt that we shall overcome and our struggle will end in victory as day follows night. I thank you.
Thank you so much, the Secretary General from Kampala. I call you the David in the Bible because you guys were fighting a Goliath. Thank you so much for your fight. I remember when the results came out in January, I got sick. I was really sick. This was like my first time to really get into the politics of Uganda. My husband knows. I was really devastated, but thank you guys. Thank you all. God bless. So I would like to invite Ms. Evelyn to give us an update of the program since we had a few hiccups in the beginning.
Thank you, Winnie. Dear delegates, since we ran a little bit late, we want to respect your time. Like I said earlier, time is critical in America, and it's imperative that we keep time. On that note, therefore, I just wanted to let you know that Mr. Byakuleka Martin was supposed to present a paper, Rethinking the Struggle. It was a 15-minute paper, and actually, it is provided in your participant packet. It is a one-page paper that he wanted to talk about, but due to unavoidable circumstances, he was not able to present. And on that note, therefore, there are going to be a little bit of the adjustments in the program. We will be inviting Mr. Karim and Joseph. Karim is from Washington, D.C., and Mr. Joseph from New York, and they will be talking about advocacy and what do we do in Washington. However, again, because of the changes and all the delays, we will not provide a PowerPoint presentation like we initially planned. We will be providing that presentation via email. We will broadcast it to you delegates, as we have a system that captured your email addresses, and we will be providing that to you all. The goal in this conference is to really talk about the patent issues that are concerning the people in the diaspora, and in line, work with Kampala. But this, I just want to make it very clear, it's a diaspora event. We are the diaspora, and we would want to be able to have a strategy for future. How do we move forward? And these issues that we raised here in this program are issues that have been discussed before in the meetings, the various meetings. So we don't bring, or we don't call you in vacuum. We based off deliberations, a huge background of information, and we captured those important factors that affect the diaspora. Yes, we work with Kampala, and we should, because we want change. We are eager to support any party that will bring change in our home country. So with that, I would want to let you know that we will adjust programs. I was going to provide an update on technology, again, that to see how can we use technology to bridge the gap. Again, with the time, we will not present a PowerPoint presentation. Our presentation will be sent to you. However, We had partnered with Nico from Netherlands, and he was supposed to speak about those issues. We have internet concerns, and we've been disrupted, so we cannot really move forward with having a virtual event. So we will continue providing you with that information because, like I said, these issues are pertinent to the diaspora, and it's important that we are listened to, and it is important that we address these issues as the diaspora. We will move into welfare. Madame Dorothy, we will allocate time. We would want her to give her detailed report. Like the SG clearly indicated, we support the NUP party. The women, the children, the young people support NUP. So it is imperative that we should be in sync. We cannot work in vacuum. However, Kampala has to understand where we're coming from, and that's why we are here today. So, welfare, the welfare leader, and that is Madame Dorothy, she partnered with a UAE, Mr. David Sewankambo. Why do we invite people? We want to get people to speak their mind. We want people to bring their ideas, and then we are able to grow. We cannot gag people. We need to allow flow of information. That's how you grow. When you have and allow flow of information, there's growth. And when we were debating for months, for various months, we wanted to know what is the theme. We had people contribute. We had people, hours of what are the things that are pertinent to us. Personally, I would want to invest in something that I believe in. If I don't believe in it, then I should not be part of it at any cost. So, welfare is a very, very important component for the diaspora because it's dear to our hearts. If you're a mother, if you're anybody with empathy, you would reach out and help the young people, then help the people who are suffering, and help those who are in prison. So with that, Dorothy, the leadership she's providing with the welfare, it is important that we partner with her, and not only partner with her, but look for how do we strategize, how do we grow. So the reason I'm giving you this brief, again, is to set pace. Why are we here? Why did we organize for this conference in the first place? We are the diaspora. We have 47, if you look at the back, 47 chapters. And every one of these chapters is all over the globe. So how do we bring and gather together and form a common ground? How do we work together? We in the diaspora, we have an advantage. When you work and you're paid on time, when you work and earn a living, that is worth it. And if you're willing to invest in Kampala, and you would want accountability, you would want to know who you're working with, you would want to see what is the trend. Again, I emphasize, why are we here? We are here to come together, put a face to the various voices on Zoom. Have confidence that when you speak to Evelyn, you're speaking to me by face. It was amazing when we were managing this event, and very exciting. That's why my voice is sore. Seeing everybody, it was very exciting to see Mr. Katavazi, to see Mr. Jumba. in Caribou. Is that called Caribou? In down, it was amazing. I had never come to Boston, and here I am. So what is important, again, to set pace, so that we go back to why are we here? Yes, there were disruptions, but we would want to go back to a direction. The theme is strategy for sustainability and strategy for the diaspora. So I just want to set that pace. We respect our leaders from Kampala. We want to partner with them, because when these individuals go out there and do whatever they do, they represent us, and we would want to partner with a party that cares for the people, that understands the people. That's why we in the diaspora are here. That's why each one of you is here and is supporting this conference. So again, we will listen to Madame Dorothy and her team. As I said, David from UAE has worked so hard. He has great thoughts. My role was to bring these individuals together and see what can you both work together, come up with a strategy. How can we, because we cannot every day come on a Zoom link at any one time and raise money for item X. If you're in America, that's not sustainable. You've got to have a strategy. You've got to think of that. We don't want to be told when to think. I'll give an example. Comrade Lumbuye was here. He is someone that had everyone has a thought. Any human being can have a thought on anything. However, when trouble came, we as the diaspora, in 4 weeks, 4 days, we raised the money that was needed. Why? The question is why? We stand for the people. It's what you believe in. It's the people that matter. When you see a person dying, when you see somebody hurt, if you have empathy, and if you're a Christian, even if you're not a Christian, the goal is how can I help? However, we need to have better, a way. We cannot always raise money on the fly. We cannot. We've got to lay strategy for our future. We live in America. We go through strategy courses. We learn, I bring my expertise as an IT manager because I see it in series of training. I take my time. I'm an IT expert. The portal that you all signed on was developed by myself and a comrade in UAE. So those are the things that we are looking for. Each one of you has a resource, has something that you're bringing on table. That is the goal. If you are good in one area, provide. If you have the money, give the money. What I believe in America is freedom of speech. I don't believe in a way where you don't allow dialogue, where you don't allow not listening to the people. So it is important to listen to the people. So in that note, why am I giving you this background? So that you get an understanding. When you look at the program, it's not in vacuum. The coordinators sat down. They listened to the people. When Winfred comes to me and say, Evelyn, we need money, she's got to explain to me for what? And she has to give me accountability. The minute I joined her team, the question was, where's the accountability? And in that, Mr. Karim Ntambi, I respect him. The reason why I joined, he took time to explain to me the importance of what People Power NUP is all about. So when someone takes time, you need to listen. You need to give that opportunity for each one of us to speak. So this is a diaspora event. And in the last discussion, because of the disruptions, we will have, again, we have challenges with technology of the internet. We will provide the link or the presentation on structures. Again, the structures, when I say we, because the question will say, who are you? I don't have to be a person. I contribute to NUP. So I have a right to question. I have a right to contribute. So it doesn't matter what title you have. What matters is your contribution. So with that, now that I have your attention again, I want us to set back to this conference, why we are here. We are here to plan and have a strategy for the diaspora. So I want to encourage you, speak up. I always tell, when I'm able to join the Zoom meetings, to encourage the leaders. Herself, when you listen from the community, write down, do bullet points, come back, present, don't talk. Zoom meetings on the fly with no response, with no reflect back. Don't make any sense. There's no follow-up. There is no nothing. That doesn't work. We live in the first world. We need to be smart. We need to act smart. That's why in 2 weeks, when we decided that we are going to have a retreat of this kind, I told Haman, we are going to develop a portal. We have to have a way to communicate to the people. We went back and forth. We came up with a portal. There were challenges. We spent sleepless nights. Like I said, UAE has a different time zone, and I have a different time zone, but we made it work. That gentleman, Eddie, is awesome. We've made friends for life. We are probably going to make more business together. I like smart people. So if NUP Kampala, I want to encourage you, tap into the resources of the people. There are people who are very smart, and they can bring and build you. If in any way you block that, interestingly, it will be a loss to the party. So it is important. I don't know how much I can stress it. I like documentation. Very detailed. Very, very detailed. So it is important to set a pace. And I want to encourage chapter leaders who are here, document, have that event. Don't do things on the fly. That's not how you sustain anything. And be accountable. Be accountable. So with that, we will eliminate the brief from Uganda, because we have a hard stop. Otherwise, we'll be charged $2,000 staying here after 2. So again, Mr. Karim, I'm going to invite you to come. You know, the beauty of presenting something here on a slide, it comes from the head and from the heart. I believe your presentation, I read your paper, it's from your heart, it's from the hard work that you have. Joseph, come and speak about your, you don't need to present because you do this daily. Speak about it. How can we encourage? How can we grow? So speak about that. Then, because welfare, again, is more detailed, because we want to be accountable. We are going to allow Madame Dorothy to provide her detailed welfare report. And thereafter, Dr. Kauma will be presenting with his team, Mr. Serunjoji, and again, we have smart people. It's amazing what you can get when you tap into the right talent. They will present on structures. What does it mean? And thereafter, we were hoping that the president will be closing this session. I'm going to step back and try and figure out if we can be able to have that experience. So if we don't have that experience, we apologize in advance. And with that, Karim.
Before Mr. Karim comes on stage, he came to visit us in Minneapolis. And when he came to Minneapolis, he left with this notion of let's have this conference. You have the...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Evelyn. Thank you so much, Winnie. Welcome everybody to Boston. This is home. This is home to me. When the struggle started about 2 years ago, the first time I came here with Honorable Kyagulanyi, it was devastating. I saw people in tears. I asked myself, where shall we be as the diaspora 80 years from today? Are we going to be cartoon characters on the footnotes of history, or are we going to leave a statement? I asked myself, what can we do as the diaspora? Can we push? How can we engage our development partners to work with us? For so long, we have been talking about change, but we as the diaspora, we had never come out as strong as we have with the People Power movement. This is a struggle for the people, the young, the old. The most amazing piece in our struggle is that we are supported by a biggest number of women in the diaspora. So I was asked to talk about strategic advocacy. What can we do when we come here as immigrants? We come from different backgrounds, have different experiences, but then we have to contribute. We have to do something that can impact our people, something that our, families and friends back home can always count on and know, you know what? I know Mr. Solomon in Massachusetts is fighting for us. I know someone from Seattle who is doing some work for us. That keeps them going. For them knowing that they are not standing alone. For them knowing that they are not enduring whatever they are doing in vacuum. Also gives us the courage. So that leads me to what can we do? And what have we been doing? We embarked on a journey of doing sensitization, strategic sensitization, on how we can reach out to those in power. How can we reach out to our development partners on the issue of democratization, rule of law, and democratic change of government in Uganda? We understand that the US has been partnering with Uganda for the past, 35 years since the Reagan era. Museveni has been coming to Washington and being blessed and doing their work. Unfortunately, that work turned out to be not on a mutual interest and respect. That's why we are here to demystify that. We are here to tell the United States government that the partnership that they hold with Uganda should be revisited. And how have we been doing that? Before I go any further, I want to take this opportunity to recognize Mr. Joseph Senyonjo. Mr. Joseph Senyonjo. Mr. Joseph Senyonjo, after the elections and before, he took over almost 6 months of his time from work to support the struggle. He did that by teaching us, by showing us what we can do on a daily basis. Moving the US is not an easy, it's not a pick up the phone and call the Congress and do it. You know it, you live here. For people to even get what they want here, it takes a lot. I know some of you have been hearing about those checks that were coming in from the government during the pandemic. It didn't come from people just saying, okay, we need some money from the government, and the government gives it. It took them pushing hard. And these are Americans. Bodies were dropping on a daily. People were running out of work. But Washington was on a snail mail on being active. Now, if that can happen to their fellow Americans, what about you? You are not only a minority, but you're a minority under the minority. So it means nobody is seeing you. So what do? You have to fight 3 times more than they do to get hard. And that is the work that Mr. Senyonjo and many of our comrades had embarked on from January going forward, and that work is still going on. We have had successes. I know some people have doubted the process. Oh, we do this, we make these calls, but they don't. We send letters, nobody answers. I get an automated message every time I do that. Yes, you have to do it. I don't know whether you've heard about lobby farms. I'm going to tell you this. The junta, when we started putting the pressure, it enrolled a lobby farm. It had one from 2016, which was, vital. Whenever Museveni is in trouble, he's going to hire the big guns. And that firm was called Scribe Strategies and Advisors. They gave them the playbook of how to move the elections from March to Feb, to make it, at least when the transition is going on in the US, we shall also be doing our chaos there. So by the time they finish doing, appointing committees, we shall be done and the storm will be calm. There is somebody who does that. It doesn't come from the vacuum. And that person is paid a hefty of your money that you send to Uganda. So there was Scribe Strategies and Advisors who signed a contract of over $1 million every year to block your calls. Whatever you say is going to be dismissed. It's going to be disposable. Because the lobbyists know the insides of Washington. You, at least maybe you know a professor or your local council who you think can make a call for you. But you also need to push them. So when we kept pushing, in March, I think it was April the 16th, the State Department announced that we had got visa sanctions. They called them specially designated individuals and specially designated countries and blocked individuals. This time we got visa sanctions for Ugandan officials, and that was a plus. And I want to thank each and everyone. It looks as something very small, but that was a big plus. It took you and me, it took you and anybody you asked to make a call, to send a tweet, to pick up that phone, to send those automated messages that we embarked on a daily, to have that plus. But we cannot stop there. In May, what the government of Uganda did was to enroll another lobby firm.
Hi, my name is Bobiwine, and I want to thank you for
Mercury Public Affairs.
and your People Power Diaspora Conference 2021 is the first of its kind. You've heard from different people, and we do believe that the message you've heard so far is a representation of the ideas they have. And just as we are the official broadcasting media house for this convention, and we thank you so much for always watching AI TV. But we have heard so far from the chairperson of the Diaspora Convention, and usually you've heard from different individuals. You've heard their testimonies. You've heard what they believe, how they believe, and why they should believe in this convention. So we believe that this is
each one of you to continue doing the work. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to share the slides. It's painful, but hopefully the IT team will help us have that available for you to share it before you leave the conference. Mr. Joseph Senyonjo has taught us Twitter, the world of Twitter. Those of you who are not there, you are missing one of the things that are the reason why I'm proud of the Twitter, the people who are doing this job on Twitter, is you stood up in February and you said, while our friends and family members and NUP people are relinquishing and others are being taken in drones, we shall not have the DJ Khalid party in Uganda, and we are going to send a message to MTV. We pulled it off, didn't we? We pulled it off, didn't we? And I believe we can pull it off some more. It is your work. Those are small, those are efforts. We can keep building on what we have. We can keep building. Call a friend. Let them know that, you know what, I learned this. I saw this tweet. Can you retweet it? If you don't know what to do, reach out to your chapter leaders. These are small things that we can do. These are small things that you can do on your phone. We have our phones in our hands. You cannot miss your phone in 2 hours. Believe me. You cannot miss your phone for 2 hours. And I believe if you can't miss your phone in 2 hours, make Twitter your friend. Make Twitter your friend. And start from there. Get your target and say, you know what? I want to make sure that at least every day I send a message to my representative about Uganda. Or every day I can send a message to the Kawenkene himself. He's there. Make sure you send a message to him. Keep doing that work. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but I want to thank you people who have been continuously sending those messages to your representatives. And if you don't know, most of the times, I'm going to speak about something before I call Mr. Joseph. Most of the times when we are doing strategic advocacy, so many people are like, okay, I called, but I didn't get to the senator. I called, but I didn't get to the congressman. I want to speak to the congressman himself. No, you don't need a congressman himself. He has a team, like Madame Dorothy demonstrated. She doesn't do the work alone. She has people that she depends on. If I need somebody who has skills in finance, I have them. If I need somebody who is good on policy, so that's what the senators and congressmen depend on. These are mostly young people who understand the ins and outs. They are our age mates. They run the world. So when you call, you make sure you ask for the lead assistant on foreign relations, or you ask for a lead assistant on policy. Get the name and the email. When you make that call to get the name and email, make sure they spell it for you. So
and so we anticipate that this is just the beginning of the discussions and the debates that are going on in the history of Uganda. This is the first convention that So we are trying to make an understanding of there are hundreds and hundreds of people down here in Boston, Massachusetts who have gathered.
Somebody can be Kate,
NUP people power,
and it's written different. So you make sure you get those nitty-gritties sorted before you send that email. I'm going to invite Mr. Senyonjo to speak about the role of Twitter
on the raw
and what else we can do to get this movement going as far as advocacy is concerned. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for coming in big numbers. This is our first ever People Power Convention, and I want us to do this every time, whenever we meet people that we have been working with virtually but have never met. That meeting, the thinking, we get together and share ideas.
And is the reason why we're sure that NUP members or supporters have gathered to have a discussion. So a lot more is yet to happen. This is the first day of the retreat. Right now, after this sitting, we are expecting a boat cruise happening, and we anticipate many musicians and others to come in. And so we feel like this is the new beginning, and a lot is yet to happen. So we thank you so much for the debate. We thank you for the discussion. We thank you for, so we believe that
we actually have learned a lot from you, so thank you so much for teaching us how Washington works. And writing letters to the representatives and what to call and how to reach and how to call the senators. Mr. Karim Mutambi knows the ins and outs. So I encourage all of us, through our chapter leaders, to actually do the work of reaching out to our representatives, elected representatives, because these are the people that the legislative branch is the one that influences the executive branch. So you have a power within yourself to get some action. So now, thank you so much, Mr. Karim Mutambi. Thank you very much. And I want to thank Ms. Our Vice Chair of this occasion, Ms. Nachibuka, Ms. Evelyn Nachibuka, for that brilliant introduction. Meaning, like, you set the stage for this whole event, because that's extremely important. We are here for how do we sustain our struggle going forward, and in order for us to be sustainable, we have to be working hand in hand with Kampala and the team. We can't be like pulling opposite directions. So thank you so much for that, and I'm very grateful. All right, so this slogan, People Power, our power, and Twebereremu, the selection of those two, or the adoption of those two slogans by the principal, I think was a stroke of genius. Those are very, very powerful slogans. Yeah? So when we talk about people power, like when we talk about advocacy, when we tweet, when we write, individually, we write letters to our senators or elected representatives, and we are doing it individually. But when we collectively, our collective efforts have impact, and that is people power, right? That is people power. So that is a great slogan. So now, before I move on, I want to acknowledge one thing. There is a Twitter team which has been doing this work. It's not been me by myself. Without people working and doing this work, by myself I can't do much. So I hope some of these people are here. Fatu, can you stand up, please? This lady is from Sierra Leone, and she's been tweeting with us every single day, and she's so passionate. It's unbelievable. Mary Chiganda, can you stand up, please? I want to acknowledge this because these are the people that have been doing the work. It's not just been me. Kawesa, is Kawesa here? Kawesa? No. Hey, Kawesa. Tony Subuga.
Hi, my name is David Bobiwine, and I want to thank you again. You've been watching what's going on here in the Boston area. The NUP members, NUP supporters, People Power supporters have gathered here to discuss the future of Uganda. That's the reason why we're here. We are the official broadcasting network for this entire event, and we thank you for always watching AITV. We don't just promise and don't deliver. When we promise, we deliver. So a lot of things are going to happen tonight. We've had a number of discussions from different individuals. You've heard from Karim Ntambi, who has talked so much about advocacy in the diaspora community, what they can do, how can you advocate for the future. But that's not the only thing that we've so far heard. We've heard from the diaspora leader, Hamani Ainabiona. We've heard from the Boston chapter leader, Dorothy Rubo. We've heard from the MCs. It is such a colorful day down here, and many people are already watching from different parts of the world. Many people are enjoying this session. This is not like any other event. This is a special event. This is a political event where people gather to speak the ideas, where they want, how they want to see their country go, and when they want to see that happen. Of course, there have always been so many promises that politicians make and they don't deliver. This time, we are seeing a change in the political history of Uganda. My job, or our job as a media network, is to bring you things as they happen here from diaspora in the United States of America, the first ever convention for NUP people supporters. So I'm going to be back and forth. I'll be taking you back in the conference room to hear from keynote speakers, and as I'll also be sharing with you the key things that are happening. But don't forget, you can also send us your comments on our platform, AITV. You can send us your questions. We will always deliver them to the responsible personalities. But what is important today is, what should we expect out of this retreat? What are they going to be discussing about? What questions do people have since January when one candidate was declared, not because he won the election, at least as we know, but because he has been in the power for more than 35 years. That's what people are now talking about. What can be done to change the narrative? What can Ugandans in the diaspora do to change the narrative? So I'm going to be having a number of people to come here and discuss, from members of parliament who represent different constituencies in Uganda to the diaspora leaders here, and also elders in the diaspora community who feel like maybe Uganda deserves something new, maybe Uganda deserves something better. The number of questions. One may say, well, we are having a better time here in Uganda. But questions are, is it a better time really? Are you having healthy facilities that can take care of your health? Do you have better roads? Do you enjoy everything that is going on? So tonight, that is what's going to be happening. This is the first day of this convention. After here, pretty much around 2 and about 2, 3, 4 hours from now, the members who are here today are going to be going for a boat cruise to entertain themselves, to have fun, to enjoy. You know, it's not just about politics, but politics is also about fun. The number of questions that we have so far received, the members who are asking, is Honorable Robert Chagulanyi going to be around? Yes, he was supposed to be around, but according to different sources we've had, he won't be able to be around physically, but virtually he'll be able to communicate to the people who have gathered here to discuss the future of their country. Those who love their country have gathered here, and those who love again their country are online right now watching as events unveil. My name is David Bobiwine. Now I'm going to take you back into the conference room. I'll be back shortly. So please enjoy, keep sharing the program, keep sharing. This is AITV special edition, where we're going to be presenting to you different ideas, different narratives from different individuals. I'm coming back with at least a member of parliament who is here today to represent a number of things and talk about key issues. We want to know, what should people expect from these members of parliament who traveled all the way from Uganda to come here in Boston, Massachusetts, to discuss the future of the country? What should people expect from the diaspora community? These are the questions that the world needs to know, and I'm sure the members who are here today, the key leaders here today, are going to be in a position to share those key ideas. And like I mentioned to you earlier, we have heard from Karim Ntambi. He's a diaspora mobilizer. He has been sole foundation who saw key in the debates and the discussions about change in here in the United States regarding the People Power movement, and of course very key in different discussions for a long period of time. But as we speak again, we have heard from the diaspora leader, Hamani Ainabiona. He has discussed and presented different leaders from different fraternities that he hates. A lot has been going on, questions have been going on, but again, we cannot stop from that. Let's keep watching as we go on. So for now, I'm going to let you go and put you back into the conference room, and we'll proceed with the discussion. Thank you.
Some of people in my chapter, eminent professors, have set up media interviews with, like, one gentleman who was a CNN analyst and also a prominent New York journalist on a local news. And he was eager to interview the principal. And again, the principal actually was not able to make it because they said we should wait another time. So these kind of things are very disheartening, which means that either there is a management issue which needs to be addressed so that we kind of work together and because either that or someone somewhere there is some kind of something that's interfering into the principal's capacity to do things that it needs to do. So we need to address those issues. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to move forward and sustain the struggle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. Yeah, let's appreciate Joseph. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, and thank you so much, Mr. Karim Tambi. We really appreciate you so much. So thank you so much for following. Without any further ado, we just want to go into the second segment. And as we well heard from Madame Evelyn, one of our chairpersons, and also Mr. Derek, but you heard here Madame Evelyn tell us about the welfare department. So I would like to take this pleasure to humbly welcome our team leader here in the Greater Boston area, and also our diaspora welfare department team leader to come and give us her presentation. Put your hands together. Let's welcome Madame Dorothy Stewart, who is heading and leading our diaspora welfare department. And we appreciate you so much for all the help and all the dollars, all the monies that you have been giving to help our comrades back home in Uganda. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Madame Dorothy.
Thank you so much, David. I thank you once again, Madam Evelyn, for giving me another opportunity to address this wonderful gathering with the people power leaders and members and our executive and our members of parliament. I am so honored and privileged to be here, and I take this opportunity to once again tell you that just feel at home. We are one family, and Boston, Akalamatenda, Unchakwabulunch. Members and our leaders, may I please have my team with me. Our members, first of all, members, if you have, you can send a tweet or a message. We are broadcasting live from AITV. We have a Facebook page, AITV. We have a YouTube page, AITV Boston, and we are broadcasting live. So you can send a message, a link to everybody, whoever you know is not here, so they can follow the events as they unfold right here before you. Thank you so much. Members, the team was established during, and post, after the diaspora realized were the unfortunate events that were taking place back home, especially against our members of the National Unity Platform, and most importantly, our president. We all remember that Uganda always goes to the vote every 5 years, and for 40 years we have been trying and seeking for change of leadership, and this time it was in January 14th, 2021, which our president termed Mission 2021. We thought this was the deal. This was the day, this was the time Ugandans were gonna get themselves rid of those who imposed us, those people who imposed themselves on us through our National Unity Platform, through our dear President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. But what followed during the campaigns and after the campaigns, we all witnessed extreme violation of human rights by the regime in power after stealing the vote and after imposing on Uganda, imposing themselves again using that infamous slogan of Twarwana, all those nonsense they were used to do because they felt insecure outside of the politics of Uganda. Probably they don't have no home to go to. That's why they impose themselves on Ugandans. But whatever followed, we all witnessed. And as Ugandans in the diaspora, and as part of the National Unity Platform, with the diaspora came together and felt the need to help the vulnerable and the poor, our mothers, our sisters, our comrades who were fighting tooth and nail to change the regime. When the regime turns itself against its own people, violating all kinds of, committing all kinds of atrocities towards the citizens of Uganda, especially those who have different opinions of leadership, it's really, really sad. So we as diasporas, we came together, we felt the need to help our leaders, our secretariat, because as you remember, our president was bound. He was arrested at home for quite some time. He didn't have any communication. He didn't have any security himself. And we know our soldiers were really being kidnapped, tortured, maimed, and killed. So that's how we formulated the welfare team to get together diaspora to see how we could extend a hand. Through you members, I take this opportunity. Before I get there, my team comprises of a number of people. This team comprises of members from each diaspora NUP chapter from all around the globe who come together to sensitize, to put together when we receive those complaints, the videos, the atrocities, those people who have been tortured, we get together and see who and how we can help them and how we mobilize funds from amongst ourselves through every chapter leader. So every chapter leader in the diaspora is a member of this team, and every chapter leader sent a representative. May I please see the representatives of the welfare team from your different chapters? If you are here, may I please have you come forward? The very first one is our vice. I am the chairperson of the team. My vice is Madam Teddy Lubega from DMV, DC, Washington, DC, Virginia, Maryland and Virginia. That's Madame Teddy Lubega, who has done a tremendous job. She is my right-hand woman in this job. In terms of contributions, she single-handedly, she takes it upon herself and dig down through her pockets to help us. We have Madame Judy Nansamba as our secretary. She's outside, they are doing registration. We have Madame Susan from Netherlands. Members, most of this, especially from Europe, due to COVID restrictions, wouldn't make it. But I would mention Susan from Netherlands. We have Sarah from Chicago. We have Mr. Peter Okarikot from UK. UK wouldn't make it due to COVID. We have Madame Juliet Bagenda from Sweden. We have Mr. Ismail Serunjoji, represents Boston chapter. He was here, oh, he's right here. He represents on the Boston chapter leadership, the elites of Asomam. And then on this, he represents the Boston on the welfare team. We have Madame Brenda Nakato, Toronto, Canada. We have Erina Buliwa from Ottawa, Canada. We have Erina from Switzerland. We have Fiona from North Carolina. Fiona is right here. We have Harriet from Ohio. We have Helen from Chicago. We have Jackie Milembe from New Jersey. We have Juliet Sebagala from Maryland. Juliet from Maryland. We have Rhoda from Denmark. We have Ruth Mirembe from Germany. We have Sophia Host from UAE. UAE wouldn't come, same reasons. We have Madame Grace Chiboneka from Seattle. Madame Grace from Seattle. We have Mr. Tony Kaziba. He is our finance advisor. Can I have Mr. Tony? Tony is the finance for Boston. Tony has been the finance team leader for the diaspora, and this young man has done an exemplary job handling all the finances from all chapters since before the campaigns. This young man is so wonderful. He has the commitment and whatever it takes to handle the finances, and he has done well to advising this team on how to use your finances, and that's the gentleman right there. We have Madame Grace Chiboneka Aze. We have David Semakula, David Sewankambo from UAE, and he helped to put up this wonderful document. We were going to have a project.
Hello, hi. We welcome you back from that session. Right now what's going on is the People Power Boston chapter leader Dorothy Bo introducing a number of people she works with in different capacities and from different regions. But we had to come out and just have a simple discussion here on the key issues that are happening. And I'm joined by Jumba Eddie. He's a media personality. He's a political analyst. Jumba, I want to thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm sure, or still morning. Oh, we're already the afternoon hours. But I want to thank you so much for joining me. Quick question. What should people expect from this retreat that NUP People Power Diaspora Wing has started with? This is the first of its kind.
Thank you so much. This kind of a retreat like this give us what we call stock taking. That's why we have to look into the things we've gone through, some of our failures, some of our weaknesses, and where we can strengthen ourselves. So that's one of the things we expect to get out of this conference. And also it gives us the opportunity to liaise with the team from Kampala, just like you saw. The Secretary General of NOP is here, the Vice President, Mrs. Zedriga, she's here, and all these other powerful members of our party. This is a young party, by the way. So in the process, it's giving us this link and the bridge between the diaspora and the people in Uganda, and how we can strengthen and take this party forward.
Where do you see, based on what we see today, do you think the NUP People Power Diaspora is going to come up with more of this, or bigger than this so far?
Something bigger than this. By the way, one of the things you have to realize is that this conference has been organized during a pandemic. So there's a lot of restrictions that have come to bear upon us as we organize this conference. So going forward, as the country, as the world recovers from this pandemic, we will have more of this and stronger and better than this.
There has been some criticisms going on that maybe they should have maybe gone to another state or something. What's your view on that? Because we have seen many people coming up and having such arguments that why Boston? Why Boston? Why everything for NUP Boston? What would be your response to that?
I would rather tell that person that it's better you start from where your strength is, where your most strength is. Boston is the epicenter of the Ugandan population in the diaspora. We have a very powerful diasporan population in Boston. So when you start with where your strength is, then it gives you the momentum to go on. It gives us what we call a snowball effect as we go forward, because it has given us a springboard to jump from here into the future.
Well, thank you, Jumba. But my last question to you before you go. Now it's close to 3-4 years. The struggle has been going on. Young people have joined it. Old people are coming down to say, hey, we have to join the young people so we can also President Museveni, who has been in power for more than enough years. Do you really think this year or next year something strong will happen?
I don't think, but I believe. So it's not just thinking about it, but believing it. NUP is a young party. You can see the population of Uganda, 75% of these kids have been born, and I'm 7. So this is a party of the future, a party of the young people. This is a party that has very strong leadership. It has an inspirational leadership. Right now, who can Museveni inspire? Tell me. Can you be inspired by the tribalism, the corruption, the killings, the kidnapping of Ugandans? Does that inspire kids? But at least Bobiwine, Kyagulanyi Sentamu, the president, can inspire these kids, because he's looking forward and towards a Uganda that will be very inclusive and peaceful, and a Uganda that can develop.
All right, Juba, you know, this is my, I've said this and I'm saying it again. This is my last question. Today is the first day for this convention. The result tomorrow. Now, what should people expect from tomorrow's discussions that are going to take place? We anticipate Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi will be speaking to people here virtually. And do you think there was an impact for his failure to show up on such a critical time here in the diaspora?
Definitely yes, because like any organization, a leader is very critical and important in any organization. Even if it's the president of the US, if he's not going to be on a function where he's expected to come, you expect it to dampen a little bit. So that is very, very normal. It's very human. But the president is going to be speaking to us through Zoom today, just a couple of hours from now, maybe an hour and a half from now. But I believe tomorrow is going to be even better, because it gives the others the ability to stand into the gap in his absence.
All right, Juma, I want to thank you so much. I hope to have you again. To all our viewers out there, we thank you so much for watching AI TV. We are the official broadcasting network for this event. Right now, I've so far seen the Secretary General for National Unity Platform, David Louis Lubongoya. I've seen Chairman Nyaz in the house, in the conference room. I've also seen other members of Parliament, Honorable Francis.
Person. This is the group of whom I call Bachigatto Wange, anonymous. Even this team, Tebabamanyi, baby except my vice. And we have taken care of so many people, over 100 comrades, they brutalized. Among them, we have had one death, unfortunately. This young man was from Arua, by the name Luca Fabian. He had 2 children. So those orphans, one of my anonymous Chigato takes care of those orphans through Madame Zedriga. Every month that person sends me $200 to send for the care of these people. Unfortunately, whether he or she is in this building or not, I have the privilege of not mentioning that person. I have many people who volunteer to take care of these young men after they go through the medical process. They have where to go. They have no place to live. They were thrown out. Most of them were in jail. They don't have nothing to eat. Most of my team members and other Bachigato Wange, they volunteer. They give them houses. But they said, don't mention my name, just take whoever you want, put them in this location for 6 months. Those are there. Whether they're here or not, I can't mention their names, but we have a number of them who have provided their houses, who have taken on individuals. Give me this young man to pay his rent. I give him some little bit to start up, and I have those. That's the group called Anonymous, also in this welfare team. That's the team I work with, and those I mentioned. Are you going to say you? And in the beginning, we had so many chapters contributing to this welfare. But gradually as time, time tells, some of them dropped out. But I take this opportunity to thank the Boston chapter. Boston Moribamanyi. Boston has maintained and sustained the welfare right from day one. We started in Boston. and then we spread our tentacles. But still, Boston still does it. Even after other chapters were advised to stop mobilizing funds, Boston and Maryland, Washington, D.C., New York, a couple of others, Netherlands, Canada team, UK, South Carolina, Chicago, and all the rest. A few are still contributing, but Boston is holding this thing high. We as well, we don't have the projector, but our finance had compiled the report. Probably I'll give you a chance to read it. How your chapters have been contributing this welfare team. In total, we took care of over 100, and we still have comrades in hospitals, by the way. When chapters stopped fundraising, that's why Boston stood by the team and a few others, because we still turn up to write abalema bafe. Those who with broken legs, broken limbs, broken necks and backs, in wheelchairs, on crutches, they have been in hospital for over 6 months, and they are still there. And we still owe the hospitals over, right now, over about 15 million Uganda shillings. Dear diaspora, we still owe. Much as at some point we vowed to distribute this date amongst our chapters, but some chapters haven't come to fulfill their pledges or their promise, but Boston is still going strong, and a few others. I thank you so, so much. We had prepared to show you the grievances, the extent of the grievances and atrocities, from being maimed, gunshots, beatings and all that, but our project is not working. But I have a detailed report of how we have been doing this. We have comrades in jail. You know the infamous Chitalia jail? This welfare team has visited our comrades in jail a couple of times. All the time. Before we were taking a lot of stuff to them, but recently they stopped. But all we care for is their health. So we regularly visit and take medication, and we take different stuff to our comrades, especially medication, and now we pay their upkeep. We deposit some amount of money. Wherever they have a chance, they want to put up business. Somebody put up a business in Chitalia for these comrades. They just go buy food. So they stopped us from taking food stuff to our comrades. But we give them money so they can somehow change and have something to eat. That's what we do now. But we always take medication, because, as you know, the conditions, they're terrible, filthy. Always they're getting very diseases like a dysentery, scabies and all that. But our team in Kampala always take their medications to take care of their health. Members, we have that presentation of all their grievous atrocities, but you see the names are anonymous and their faces, you won't see them. For their safety and security, we shall share those details through your emails. If you provided an email, you'll get the extensive report of the welfare team. All around, we gathered over. I invite at this point our finance to give this report of how much each chapter has raised so far since February up to date, and how we have been distributing this money to our comrades through their health, through their upkeep. Most of them, when they come out of jail, we try to give them something to start their lives. Some they have women and children at home. Those husbands are in jail, so we go visit these women and their children, like on important days like Easter, like Eid, and any opportunity we get, we go take food, any kind of assistance, ranging from rent, upkeep, take care of their kids back to school. We have paid tuition to some comrades. We have paid rent. We have given them startup capital ranging from 300,000 Uganda shillings to up for maybe $1 million, wherever we can get. Wherever we get is what we distribute. I thank you, comrades in the diaspora, for giving me the opportunity to lead and to serve our vulnerable and the poor. When you see these videos, you cry, but I'm sure most of you are mothers, and just like most of my team, they're mothers. So that's why you get deep down in your pockets to help sustain these people, to help with the little we have. It is a sacrifice, but you sacrifice whatever you have for the good of our country, and most importantly, to help our leaders to get that weight off their shoulders. That's why we came up with the welfare team. We have paid the legal fees to all those comrades who have been, they have been to court here and there, back and forth. They usually reach out welfare. We are going to court. We need this. We have tried to scramble around to raise some funds to pay their legal fees and to see that our comrades come up. We have maintained those. We remember when they used to still do demonstrations. Many of them were kidnapped, we were arrested and thrown in jail. We usually came out to assist in getting them out of jail. This team, through you, our people in the diaspora, to maintain. So at this juncture, let me get our finance, Tony, to come and read this, how the chapters contributed, who contributed most and who didn't do anything. That one. Thank you so much. I thank you so much. May God bless you for God and my country. People power, our power. Right.
A round of applause to you, Madam Dorothy. Thank you very much. Hello, comrades. I wish we had a projector to show you this, but I would like to really appreciate the welfare team. Welfare is not going anywhere. It's here to stay with us. The junta is still going to torture our comrades. You're still going to see human rights abuses going on. That is not going to stop until we kick them out. Hopefully that's going to be anytime soon. But let me just go through a list of all the chapters from all across the world that have contributed. But I won't give the amounts because, as you know, while the junta is waiting there, we still have operations in Uganda. Once they hear these amounts, they may not treat us so well, if you understand. But I can go through the list. Boston came up on top. This is from the beginning of February to September. And this excludes the contribution that you guys contributed for our comrade Lumbuye. So that amount for Lumbuye is not part of this. So New York came up number 2, UK came up number 3, Washington, D.C., DMV, chapter under Karim, came up number 4, followed by California, Canada, Comrade Nakato, clap for yourself, Sweden, Texas, Netherlands, in that order, North Carolina came next, UAE, Minnesota, under Evelyn and Charles, Norway, Seattle, South Africa, Qatar, South Korea. You can imagine we have chapters in South Korea. So the major contributions, Switzerland, Ohio, and other anonymous sources who contributed that I can mention, 7 million Ugandan shillings to us to go towards warfare.
Hello, and thank you again for joining us here on AITV. I am back. There is a lot that is going on in there in the conference room. We've had a number of discussions. We've heard from Dorothy Ruboa, the People Power Boston chapter leader. She has presented to us a number of key people she works with. But now I'm joined by Karim Ntambi. He's a key People Power advocate and also a political giant in the diaspora community regarding the issues of Uganda, of course, the international community. Karim, I want to thank you for joining me this afternoon. First of all, before you even say a word, I've seen you've said a very tremendous subject. You've talked about a tremendous subject, advocacy. But let me start with that. Do you think the diaspora community is doing a great job in advocating for human rights and key issues back in the political history of Uganda?
Yes, thank you so much, David, and thank you so much, AITV, for having me. I would say yes, we are trying, like I said earlier. We, as the diaspora community, come with different backgrounds, with different needs when we come to these countries, but a sacrifice to do advocacy, to advocate for human rights and democracy building in Uganda is really key. And I would say never before have we seen Ugandans rise up in a diaspora to this extent. So with that, I would say, looking at the numbers that we're having today in our first People Power convention, it shows that, the message is getting out. The message is getting out. Each one is reminding the other to reach out to our development partners, to reach out to their representatives, to send a message. It's been 37 years. Nobody's going to pull the plug until the diaspora does, because we are stakeholders in this as Ugandans and also as global citizens.
So I want to ask you this. Do you think NUP or People Power as a movement, have they done enough to involve older people into the struggle as you've seen things in the recent past years?
I mean, you could see the diversity on the inside. We have, from young to old. We are really diverse. We are really diverse. We have some of our leaders, and not only leaders, but they've been guiding us. They have been guiding us, and we have been learning from them. Some like the team leader for Boston, Madame Dorothy. Consider her my mom. She's an elder. See, yeah, there are so many people that we have been working with who are older than us, who are guiding us to move this, because most of us are learning. When young people come here, they're ambitious. Most of them are on target. They want to accomplish their goals as soon as possible. But to see that they can tap into what the older generation had started, pushing out the dictator, it's a tremendous job. And I would really, really thank, our elders for guiding us and sparing the time to work with us. I know that times have changed. We are more online than, let's get together and talk about things. But at least they have also tried to adapt to what, this new kind of trend of communication is. Yeah.
All right, so Karim, I want to thank you. There are hundreds and hundreds of people watching right now, AITV and other media platforms that are here today. There are millions of people who are just following up on the activities of People Power and NUP as an organization. But the questions they always have is, until when?
Until when? Until you and me rise up. Until you and me and everybody else. We are Ugandans. No one is going to do this for us. Our slogan is People Power, Our Power. My job is to make sure I do what I can. Like I said earlier in my presentation, think about what the footnotes of history will be saying about you. 80 years from now, what will history say? When your grandchildren sit down and ask, where was my dad in 2021 when this was happening in Uganda? Where was my uncle? Where was my auntie when drones were taking people? Yet they had the opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I know we have limited time, so we will recognize that. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we scream, chant, yell, jubilate, and we sweat People Power, I think we also have to put it at the back of our mind that we mean what we say. When we say People Power is our power. Before I go into that, I would love to appreciate all of you for coming in, and I would extremely appreciate the delegates we have from Kampala. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sparing your time to be here. It's been really a tough series of processes for you guys to come in here. And we really recognize your efforts that you have put through to make it here. We're really, really, really humbled to see you here. Thank you, and thank you. It's quite unfortunate that our president is not here with us. I am one of them who has been on the forefront of assuring you that the president will be with us. Unfortunately, like you all are aware, he's not. We are here and we keep moving. You are the team that our president and the secretariat recognizes and pick a leaf from what they are doing to keep going. You are the backbone of the word people power. Ladies and gentlemen, let's mean it whenever we say it. People power. Let's say it again. People power. I would love to appreciate all the donations the diaspora has made to the Secretariat, to the people in Uganda, the campaign trail. It's really been a tough journey, but the fact that you're all here, you meant what you were doing. And in that same respect, you're still following up on the same. That shows the love we all have for our country. And in the same way, that honesty, that desire you put in, I believe you deserve to have a voice, to be heard, and also to participate. And forums like this give you that chance. And I request our leaders to use this forum to see to it that we can plan if we can have such events regularly, probably annually, maybe as they might choose. As you come to give, as you come to donate your time, your money, with honesty, I also believe our representation should be of the same. And someone needs to hear the people in the diaspora. Our views, our cries, our interests, I think they should be also put out there and be heard and worked upon. If we are looking at the new government, I believe it should also be that government that comes to the people, seek their input, give their contribution on how they want to be governed and represented. I won't take too much of your time, but I will thank you again for all that you have done. I've received so many phone calls. You hear some people passionately crying for their country, giving for their country. And sometimes the questions are hard to answer as you, in your own capacity and in your own position. I request that the leadership, especially from Kampala, we get a clear communication plan or strategy on how we can loop into the ideas of the diaspora people. I want to mention that sometimes it's too tough to take when someone feels used. And in that way, let's try to avoid that. And we continue as one people, as we say, people power, people power. I thank you all for representing. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and let's enjoy the program as it continues. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Derek Mubiru. So the next topic coming is about structures. An organizational structure defines how activities such as task, coordination, supervision are directed towards the achievement of an organization. We all missed the effects of our president's trip to South Africa. Honestly, when we came up with the idea to have the conference in August, it was moved to September. We accepted, but what happened? We missed something in Kampala and here in the diaspora. I would like to introduce the gentlemen that are gonna speak about the structures. One of them is Comrade Zakayo from Florida. He has us on task every Saturday morning. He conducts the meetings. He is a vibrant leader from Florida. We also have a speaker from Boston, Comrade Ismail, and we also have Dr. Daniel Kauma. He is the person, he is the man that took a chance on me, made me who I am today into the politics of the USA, and somehow I ended up into people power. It was right here in Boston that I became who I am today. Is because of Dr. Kauma. I trust he is gonna give us the wisdom that we need. We are never ever gonna miss the points like what happened in South Africa. Mr. President, if you're listening, we'll do better next time. You'll be doing better in Kampala, and we're gonna have a stronger people power, new diaspora. Thank you so much.
People power. People power. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. Boston. Minnesota. California. Chicago. Texas. Alabama. Everywhere. Thank you, comrades. Thank you, everybody who is here today. My name is Dr. Daniel Kauma. I'm based in Washington, D.C. area. And I'm happy to be here today. Boston is home, so I'm happy to be back home. I would like to start by recognizing our delegation from Uganda. If you can please stand up. Can we give them a warm applause? These are our foot soldiers. They are the ones who make it happen on the ground, and I think we all know the circumstances of what's happening in Uganda and what they go through every day, what they sacrifice, their families, their careers, their livelihoods, fighting for the best interest of our brothers and sisters who are back home. So we acknowledge everything that they do. Oh, can we stand up? Protocol observed. I would also like to thank my team here, Mr. Ismail Serunjoji, Mr. Zakayo Nsuga, and Mr. David Sewankambo, who wasn't able to join us today. We were invited to be facilitators for this discussion because we don't really have all the answers. We are just here to get ideas from all of you, because if you look at NUP, this is the most organized engagement of the diaspora we have had ever. We have had many political parties come in Uganda. We have had many leaders in Uganda, but we have never had a leader and a team that has mobilized and cared passionately about the plight of Ugandans than the way People Power and NUP have. So we really appreciate all that you have done for all of us. So the gist of this discussion today is that how can we further mobilize the diaspora to even do twice or 3 times as much as we are doing right now? The diaspora is a very powerful engine. If you look at the last elections, the work the diaspora did to motivate and mobilize the People Power movement back in Uganda was significant, very significant. And I acknowledge all the work our leaders have done, and I would like to point out Mr. Hammond. Mr. Hammond, can you stand up? It's not very easy to be the face of People Power and NUP, not just in Uganda, but here in the diaspora. So I acknowledge Mr. Hammond for all the sacrifice he makes, and other leaders in the diaspora. There are many other leaders who put in time and effort. We just saw a great team here from Boston. They're probably our most energetic team here in North America. And I acknowledge all the work they do. And we have many other teams across North America. So thank you for everything you do. Thanks for sacrificing your time, your energy, because we are all here to make a living, to seek greener pastures. But taking that extra time to fight for the people we left back home means a lot to everyone. So thank you so much for all that you do. So diaspora structures. Last year, the team of coordinators in the diaspora came up with a proposal that they sent to the Secretariat in Uganda to see how best we can organize the diaspora. And they had divided us in several regions based on our continents, because the diaspora is big. It's not just about North America. You have people in the UAE, you have people in Europe, you have people in Asia and other continents. So there was a proposal that came from the diaspora, and it was sent back to the Secretariat on how we can organize ourselves here, because the diaspora plays a key role. One role we play is fundraising, because we have a huge resource here in the diaspora. We send over 1.3 billion in remittances back home. So we have potential to really impact change, politics, and the economy in Uganda. So that's the power which NUP has to continue tapping into, because the diaspora is a big resource. The second area is lobbying and activism. We just saw our friends who were in New York yesterday. You have been seeing the footage. And we have seen friends go to the embassies and other key stakeholders in the diaspora to send a message that we don't want. There's this perception, I was having a discussion with a few colleagues, that they paint the image that we don't wish well for our country. But they forget most of us still have our mothers there. We have our fathers there. We have our parents, our children, and we send money for their education, for their health care. So most of what we do here is not to speak badly of our country, but to improve the circumstances back home so that they can succeed, so they don't have to come here. A lot of people think it's very great to come abroad. It's not. When you have to wake up at 6 in the morning, and the Boston people can tell you how warm it gets here in December, or Minnesota, Mr. Mutiaba can tell you how cold it gets in Minnesota. So leaving Uganda to come abroad is not always glorious. People make tough choices. They leave their families behind. They leave their livelihoods behind. They leave their careers behind. So we don't want the same to happen to our brothers and sisters. And the only way we do that is by making sure the circumstances on the ground are better, to make sure there's peace, there's prosperity, there's employment, there's better health care, so that we can go back. I would like to retire back home. I don't want to retire in Maryland or Washington, D.C. I want to go back home, Gomba. I want to go back to Gomba. But the best way for us to go back is by making sure the circumstances are better on the ground. But for us to do that, we need structures in the diaspora that allow us to effectively mobilize our resources, mobilize our talent. Mr. Karim was here talking about the great work they do in Washington, D.C., and he needs support. So how do we make sure we empower Herman and put people around him? Sometimes as a leader, you can get isolated. When you take time off and you don't have the support structures around you. Karim might need support in DC. When he goes to the senators, he needs to go with a team of people. So how do we create structures that empower people who are volunteering to make a difference on the ground? That's the conversation we're here to have. We're not here to criticize anybody. We're here to support our leaders. How do we help you succeed? How do we help you to make a difference back in Uganda? That's the purpose that was put before us. And so that was our role, and I've gone through some of the objectives. So we wanted to work towards building cohesive teams and efficient leadership team here in the diaspora. We wanted to assess if we can follow an alternative diaspora leadership structure from the one we have been operating at the moment. We wanted to see that we have universal standards, where the standards in UAE or the standards in UK or the standards here are not different, where if we're selecting coordinators, we have a universal process that we follow. We wanted to make sure we have structures that are decentralized, where we have checks and balances, where we have accountability, so that if we have a coordinator, we hold them accountable. Because another thing that I didn't mention, most of you must have heard last year that there's potential that the diaspora might be able to vote in 2026. So that means you need to know how many voters do I have in Boston? How many voters do I have in California? But without standard structures, we cannot tap into the big support we have in the diaspora to make a difference back home. We have over 2 million Ugandans living abroad. 2 million. That's a lot of votes. So if we're able to have structures that can mobilize that voter base, if we can vote, we can really have an impact on the political structures back home. So to me, those are the key objectives on what we need to do as a diaspora. So I've talked about the proposal which was submitted by the team of coordinators in Uganda. So the Secretariat came back and divided the diaspora into 22 sub-regions. And each of those 22 sub-regions were supposed to pick 7 leaders who were supposed to work with the diaspora coordinator. But it has been a short period of time. It's just been over a year. It's difficult for our leaders like Herman and others to operate within those structures because of the work they have to do, the sacrifices and the commitment. So we're trying to re-energize this conversation that how can we put in place structures to support our leaders to make sure they do their job. So that's why we are here today, and I hope my colleagues can add to that discussion to find a way we can create new structures to mobilize our members, to support our leaders, and to make sure NUP continues to grow in the diaspora. Thank you for listening to me, and we look forward to your input and also hearing from my colleagues.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kauma. You'll excuse my voice, ladies and gentlemen. I don't on a normal day sound like this, but it was from yesterday's event. My name is Ismail Serunjoji, and I live in Boston. And just like Dr. Kauma said, the NUP, we want to be different. Because there's already, those that live in North America, you know that there's already UNA that is operating and UNA causes, but how do we get the best practices? Because they're best practices, they're good ways of doing things. And just like Evelyn said, everybody here, we have a lot of skilled people, so how can we tap into the resources that we have for individuals? And then, from what he said, we also got a couple of organizational structural inputs, and some were from 2 individuals. We had one was from, let's give a very big hand to Mr. Zakayo. So that we had 3 structure proposals, and our role as people looking in out, we were approached by the team organizing the event, Derek, Dr. Kauma as the lead, and myself to look from outside in to see how best can we merge to have a very good structure that we can use. Then the last proposal that we had was from David Sewankambo, who is in the UAE. UAE? Yes, and it took us about 3 weeks and some very many hours to go through all these structures and also to identify the current gaps that we have in the way that the diaspora is being run. And some of the proposals for reform, and I think after this we're going to open it up to see. After my presentation, we'll ask you guys to give us what you think we should, because this document is not a binding document. We'll get feedback from you, and it's that feedback that will go back and the team to sit down and get a structure organogram to know that, okay, if we have a president of the diaspora, then we have a vice president, then we have this. So we're going to put everything together. We have one from Kampala. We have one that was made by Mr. Zakayo from Florida. We have one from a gentleman from UAE. And then we have your ideas. Then we go back and see how can, and also during these discussions, Dr. Kama probably forgot to mention, we had to read a lot of papers. There are things written by the Harvard Business Review. There are things written by the Howard University about structures. We engaged people from, Nigerians have diaspora bodies here. They are doing so well. What are some of those things that we can see that they are doing that we can use? And some of the things that we asked ourselves, Mr. Zakayo and myself, and David, UNA has been I'm sorry to bring up this, but we are trying to be different. UNA has been in presence for about 30-something years, but we have never got a UNA president to even be a ward councillor. Now, a ward councillor in America, you are a councillor for 8 houses, or 8 to 10 houses next to your house. And the reason behind this is, by the time somebody gets off being the president of UNA, your image, your integrity, the trust, they have already torn you so deep down that you cannot even be anything else. And even if you start, and even if you decide at one point to be a ward councillor, and you people who stay in America, you know this, they will dig up stuff about you. The things you did or intended to say, I didn't say it right, they will come for you. So how best, and I would not love to think that if Dr. Kama was the NUP chairperson, that is his last dream. America is the land of opportunities. Can we have, after being the president of UNA, can you go be a senator? Can you go be a representative? Because this platform you are creating is a stepping stone for something bigger. And that is the reason why we said this structure should be, we should be more organized to be able to empower leaders to grow such that you from the president, we don't want to hear you be something lower than that, because you need to go higher because there's space above. And some of the proposal reforms we said, can the process be to open elections to the diaspora leader? Probably. Is there an opportunity to have elections for the diaspora leader? And can the process be more democratic? And the process be more democratic? And again, democracy, people by the people, for the people, it's something to be discussed. And some things cannot really be discussed a lot about, because democracy is democracy, right? You cannot say, I'm truthful, but I'm a little bit truthful. You are either truthful or you are not. You are either democratic or you are not. So can the diaspora leader be held accountable by the voters? I'm only going to go through. We're going to share this document after, I think, 2 weeks. I don't know, Derek is not here. After we get some of the feedback from you guys, we'll put everything together and share it on email, because this is not the document we're trying to create is not our document. And that is why when we're tasked to come up with this document, these things are not coming from my head or Dr. Kauma's head, but it's what Kampala said, what Honorable Zakayo said, what Mr. David said. Now, what are you saying? Then we put everything together and then say, Derek, Evelyn, Haman, this is your document. Please, this is what the people are saying. Now take it on from here. Can we, for the diaspora leader, can there be more candidates? Because right now, the current, even from Arao, the time of Arao, it's somebody picks from one person. So can we have more people such that there are people who are maybe 2, 3, or 5, and then people can choose from those? Can the elections be diaspora membership engaged, mobilized? Can we be able to debate the issues and voices such that we can help Kampala? And some of the things some of the feedback that we got from people, no, let us not have elections because people will leave NUP and create NUP causes. And for us, and we're thinking, guys, we're only telling you, and we're thinking that why don't we would be hypocrites. Why? Because Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu participated in elections in Kampala even when he knew he could be shot. Honorable Zake went out ng'amanyi basobola omubba akalulu, ng'amanyi he may not go back home, and I'm sure some of these candidates know, but they still decided to do that. So, and the cry is, if something is happening on the other side, it would be hypocritical for us to say, Honorable Zakayo can do it, Principal can do it, but here, we need to be a little bit more careful. But again, that is up to you guys to debate. And also, 2 more, can we stay with the diaspora leader and the structure? Do we want it to still be implemented from Kampala? Should Kampala say, this is how we are going to work? And ladies and gentlemen, all the 3 things, they have pros and cons. I will not go through all the cons and pros because you'll get this in the document. And then the last one would be diaspora NUP structure reform, which we'll discuss as a team. And I would like to at this point invite you guys, if you have any questions and suggestions from what you've heard from us, to kindly put up your hand. I think, how many hands, Doctor, you think? 3 or 4 hands. From what you've heard, please use a minute because it's our time. And then maybe David can help to take the mic around. Please just be on point. Don't introduce yourself. I'm from Rubaga. I'm campaigning. Just.
People from the sound, we need another microphone, please, if you may. If you can avail us with another microphone so that this one stays with you guys here. Okay, as we get another microphone, where did I see a hand? Oh, he's right here. Tony.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kauma, Mr. Serunjoji, Mr. David, and Mr. Zakayo. My name is Tony Nsubuga, aka Nsubuga, Massachusetts. I want to compliment what has been said by Mr. Serunjoji by saying that NUP structures help to complement the theme of this day, sustainability. So once we have structures in place, we are able to sustain what we are doing. Otherwise, one person cannot do that. Another thing is structures help to mentor our leaders to avoid voids. Now you realize that when one of us has been kidnapped or disappeared, we just remain there. We don't know what next. But because once we have structures in place, we are able to mentor those that can perform when we are away. And then the last one, structures work hand in hand with practicing democracy, which has been said, mentoring leaders, and improving the flow of information. Now, members, I want to put to the Secretariat, the people, our delegates from Uganda, you realize that the diaspora NUP has never received any official communication from the Secretariat. The only thing we hear and we communicate to our people are clips we see on social media, bloggers, what bloggers say. We need to get those official communications into the diaspora. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are not going to respond to these. I would like to, Professor Ali Mahdi from New York City. Professor Ali Mahdi, please.
Thank you, sisters and brothers. First of all, I would like everybody here just to give a round of applause for this conference. Years from today, you're going to recognize how...
Show right now. This is a special edition for AI TV. We are streaming live from Burlington Marriott Hotel, where the NUP People Power Convention is taking place. It's a gathering where people are trying to understand the future of NUP, the future of the country Uganda, and the future of many Ugandans here in the diaspora and back in Uganda. The many questions that are going on right now, it's a question and answer session. And we are trying to understand the key values, the key principles that are happening. The number of things that we have to address right now. First of all, we're expecting Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi to give a speech today before the day ends. But the questions I've been asking around is he going to talk about the People Power Fist 5 key issues that they are going to address? One being people-centered governance, second one being equal access to human services, quality education, and health services for all. Is he going to talk about the inclusive economic development, farmers first, equal opportunity, employment and investment support, and protect Ugandans who work abroad? Then is he going to talk about the land, natural resources, and environment protection and land grabbing that is taking place in Uganda? Is he going to talk about reclaiming lake shores, riverbanks, and wetlands, fight climate change? Is he to talk about the national security issues? These are the key questions that many people around the world are asking. Is it going to happen tonight? Is he going to talk about all these key issues? As president of the National Unity Platform, as a presidential candidate who was supposed to be declared a president of the Republic of Uganda? These are the questions that people are asking right now. But right now, inside the conference room, what's happening are the questions. Diaspora people want to fully engage in the key activities going on here in Uganda, and of course here in the diaspora. They want equal participation. They don't want decisions to be done by only the Secretariat back in Uganda, because they are also key stakeholders. So people asking questions, what can they do? How can they fully participate in these key issues? And that's what we have to know. Now, like I said, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi is going to give a key speech tonight before the session of the first day, the end of this session. But again, the question that we have to ask ourselves, is he going to talk about the human rights violations? Is he going to talk about the security of Ugandans? The people who have supported NUP and People Power Organization for quite a long period of time, is he going to talk about it? Is he going to talk about the young men and women who have been in prisons over the years? Is he going to talk about the diaspora community who are being stopped from going back to Uganda? Is he going to talk about the key issues that now for one to leave Uganda has to pay taxes, a certain fee to leave Uganda to come here in the United States or any other country? That's what people are asking about right now. Unfortunately, he as an individual is not physically around today. He was supposed to, but because of COVID restriction, at least so far as we've heard from different individuals, he was stopped from coming in and he had to take a decision to go back to Uganda. But he's going to be part of this discussion virtually. And we are waiting. Is he going to talk about all the things that I've talked about right now? And as we'll also hear from key speakers from the conference, what do they expect? What arguments should they listen to? Should the diaspora work hand in hand with the Ugandan Secretariat in order to implement these key people power Feast 5 objectives that they want to achieve once they take power? For now, I am going to take you back into the conference room to hear more from what is going on, the questions that are going on, the discussions that are going on, and I will also have more interviews from key members of Parliament who are here tonight with us. Honorable Francis Zake, Chairman Nyanzi, who is a member of People Power, one of the key members of People Power Organization as a Secretariat. I'm also expecting to have a discussion with the Secretary General of the National Unity Platform, David Louis Sulbongoya, just to tell us more of what's happening here and what's happening in Uganda now after elections. What should people expect from this discussion? For now, I am taking you back into the conference room. Thank you for watching AITV and keep watching. We are the official broadcasting network for the show. Thank you.
Kati alinanye atawulira Luganda musaba amuvuunulire asobole okuwulira byenjogera. Ntutte ebbanga ddene nga ndi mu Boston. Mazididdemu ddala emyaka egiwera 22. Kaakati bwe njogera nga kyenjogera nkikakasa era nga nava e Uganda nga n'ebyanzijayo tebyali birala, byali bya bufuzi. Omwami ayitibwa John Mugwanya ye yamponya nze okubanga abalala. John Mugwanya yali minisita, ye yamponya ebintu ebituuse ku balala bonna. Era nebaza Katonda era musaba amuwe ekiwummulo ekyemirembe. Bannange tuli wano nga tubeebaza okuba nammwe nga gye muli e Uganda nga mutukiikirira nga naffe eno gye tuli tuseesa. Naye okuseesa kwaffe tekugasa ng'ate tekutuuka gye muli. Lwaki njogera bwe ntyo? Nze sisomyeko ku mulembe guno ate siri mwana muto nga bano bonna benda bano kuba bonna abasinga obungi mbazaala. Neewuunya lwaki tulina ekibiina ekinene ekyenkana wano ekitalina akawunti mu banka yonna, ekitali registered mu America, mu nsi esinga obugunjufu. Lwaki tetulina akawunti mu banka? Mukama waffe ayinza okutubuulirako ku kintu ekyo atutwala, lwaki tetugirina? Bannange, ekigambo ky'obutaba na akawunti mu banka kyekireetera okuba nti sente zaffe tetumanyi zitambula zitya, so nga tukyetaaga okukimanya. Twalyetaaze okumanya nga tulina ne tumanya nti waliwo mukama waffe, waliwo dolosa amuddirira, waliwo treasurer, waliwo ne secretary. Abo bonna tubeetaaga mu kibiina kino ekyaffe. Oba ekkanisa yeebeera nakyo, lwaki ffe tetukirina? Ekirala, n'alisabye ndaba nga mmwe abali eyo naffe abali eno tugoba ekintu kimu tugoba dictator si bwe guli bwe tubanga tugoba dictator lwaki mmwe temutuganya ffe kwerondera abakulembeze abatutwala lwaki mmwe mubatulondera ne batuddako nze bannonda nze sigenda nze bannonda kiki lwaki mutukola bwe mutyo ng'ate mutugamba titugobe dictator bwe tuba tumugoba mugire tumugobere ddala ng'ate nammwe mumugoba nga naffe tumugoba nga tuteekawo obwenkanya buli bantu mu katundu kaabwe mubaleke balonde abakulu baabwe lwaki njogera bwe ntyo mugamba nti twagala federal mugirabire ku America owa Massachusetts tagamba we California nti ojja kukola bwoti tagamba we Minnesota nti ojja kukola bwoti ate awakanya ne president n'amugamba nti nedda nze kino kyenjagala mu state yange ebitundu 65 ku buli 10 mu constitution ya Uganda.
We're live in Burlington, Massachusetts, for the People Power NUP retreat, where discussions are taking place, different things on what they want to see happen in the Republic of Uganda. But for now, I'm joined by the chairperson, organizing committee of this event, Mr. Derek Muwonge. Derek, I want to thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
But 2 questions. Right now, people are asking about NUP, People Power Organization, whether it's registered. That has been a very strong question. And I wanted to address it. You've been part of this since day one. What would be your view on that? Is it registered or not yet?
Well, thank you so much. Excuse my voice, a lot is going on. But yes, registration of NUP and People Power in the diaspora is some kind of tough topic, because there is a lot of issues that have to be considered if you are registering such an enterprise. So we are in the process of deliberations in regards to the same topic. So at this point, I would say I would request we'll give you the answer in the near future, because this is a topic that is still contentious. It's a hard topic, you know, living in the US and processes and protocols of US, you have to really abide by them. There are legal terms, there are cultural terms, there are so many things that are involved. But it's a topic on the table, and everyone's input is being collected so that we can have the right thing to do at the end of it all.
All right, Derek, I want to thank you too for responding to that question. But then my other question is, there has been a debate of leaders here in the diaspora not publicly known. What is NUP, People Power, especially Boston community, what is it doing to publicize you, the leaders, amongst the community members?
Well, leadership is about serving. That's what we believe in. And whoever is serving in their capacity, they are leaders. And they are representative of people. So publicizing them is another thing. But also, I believe that people in the diaspora have the right to choose who they want to be their leaders. And in that capacity, our job for this event specifically is to give a platform for people to speak out, choose how they want to be led. And that is one of the topics on the agenda.
All right. So tonight we are expecting Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi to give a speech. Is he going to talk about the first 5 objectives of People Power, including human rights, sustainability, education, health? What should people expect from the speech that he's going to give tonight?
Thank you. And unfortunately, I'm not in that position to speak for Honorable. And I am not in position to speak for him. He is aware of this engagement. He's been available. He's following. The unfortunate part of it is him not being here with us, but he's fully engaged. He's with us, and he's going to speak virtually. But whatever he's going to talk about, I would like to be a listener, just like...
Now you mentioned that he's not here with us. He's going to be part of the conversation or the discussion today virtually. Do you expect him to speak about what happened and why he did not show up tonight?
I think he has come out on several occasions. There was a tweet, there was a Facebook post, there was a video, it's all over the internet, speaking on the circumstances at which he was unable to be here with us. I definitely believe he will speak about it because this is public information. There's nothing to hide. It's something that was an oversight, but it doesn't take away the fact that people are still strong together. They are here in unity to continue with the program. And as people power, we always mean it.
All right. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people in there, and of course those who are watching online. You being the chairperson organizing committee for this event, were you disappointed that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi did not make it to be part of this physically?
That's tough, but with sentiments around him, definitely, yeah, we are disappointed. But at the same time, we are happy that he's in the know, he's still with us, we are moving together. Every single bit of the process, he's with us. So the disappointment is there because we cannot be with him, but at the same time, we are happy that he's with us.
All right. Derek, I want to thank you so much, and I'll come back to our viewers. We thank you so much for being part of this session. This is a special edition for AI TV, where we broadcast key special events that are happening here in the diaspora, where members community platform, People Power Movement have gathered to discuss the future, the way forward of the organization. They want to see the organization taking control of the government of Uganda, taking control of the key decisions that happen in Uganda. Tonight, like I mentioned earlier, we have seen the Secretary General for the organization, David Muwonge. He's in the conference room today. We have Honorable Francis Zake. He's in there. We have seen Honorable Solo Kayemba. He's also in there. And a number of key dignitaries who have come up to share and sit together here today to share their ideas. And for now, I want to thank you so much for being part of the discussion today. And right now, I have the vice chairperson, I'm sure, of the organizing committee today, Madame Dorothy Lubowa Stewart. She's going to be joining me today. And Dom Dorothy, I'd like to put it here. First of all, I want to thank you for making this happen. You have been very tremendous in making all activities going on come true. But the quick question I would ask you is, what should the people expect from today and tomorrow from this conference?
Thank you so much. My name is Dorothy, as you introduced. I'm the team leader, I'm the host. And I'm so privileged and honored to be the host of this event. And I would urge all of you outside to keep watching as the events unveil. Well, what I know people should expect is we're gonna get the party. First of all, to each other. We have operated in a pandemic. It's on Zoom. Nobody knows anybody. Here we are getting the opportunity to meet physically, to know each other, and to blend in as a family of the national. With our leaders from campaigns around the world, we get to know them and make a conversation of how to pave a way forward for the national unity platform. Thirdly, for leisure also, we are going to have some leisure time with our people. We're going on a boat, some kind of entertainment. Right. But most importantly is to rejuvenate our party, to forge a way forward of how we are going to be operating as NUP, more especially diaspora. That's the most important issue in this event. And secondly, another important issue is how we are going to be able to get together to help our leadership in Kampala, to help our comrades in Kampala, to help our party, and to see how our party moves on from this way forward until we achieve our mission.
All right. It has been cleared that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi is not going to be here physically, but virtually. Were you disappointed when such an event happened? Were you disappointed that he's not going to be here physically?
Well, we were really, really disappointed, very disappointed. But as our president said, "Situka tutambule." When the tough gets going, you have to get tough and keep going. We are disappointed, but then we are back. We have rejuvenated ourselves. We are in high gear. We know he's with us in spirit, and at some point we shall be with him virtually.
All right. What do you think he's going to talk about? Do you think he's going to talk about the first 5 objectives, human rights, health, and all other key things that happen or affect Ugandans tonight?
We assume he's going to talk about how we sustain this in the diaspora and how we liaise between diaspora and the Kampala team. We suspect he's going to tell us about what he's going through and what our comrades are going through, what's happening, and probably a little bit about himself, his family, and everything. And as a president, we're expecting a lot from him.
All right. Dorothy, I will have you again because you are very keen in all the discussions that are taking place right now. This entire event, you are one of the key stakeholders. So I'll have you again to have another discussion with you. But for now, I'm going to go back in the conference room because a number of questions. By the way, before I let her go, there has been a question about publicizing the publicity of your leaders amongst the key supporters of People Power Movement here. What are you planning on making sure that people get to know you, leaders here in the diaspora?
This is one of the plans, like coming together here to formulate a system of how we are going to work from this day forward, how to make ourselves known to the whole world, how to sensitize our people to get involved in NUP activities, how to climb those people in power, the authorities like the senators, all those people. How do we? This event here is paving the way for that, and I'm sure we are going to be doing well from today forward.
All right, Madam Dorothy, I want to thank you so much. To our viewers, this is the best day for many NUP supporters here in the diaspora. And of course, the theme of the day is sustainability. How can you sustain the key things that the NUP is doing? That's the question that anybody will ask. Will NUP survive the next 20, 50, 100 years from now? What strategies do they have? They have a leadership back in Uganda and of course in the diaspora. How do these two organizations meet up to coordinate all the key activities that happen? So for now, I'm sure I'm going to be taking you back into the conference room where questions and answers session is taking place. And I'm sure also that you don't want to miss what's happening in there. For now, I'm going to let you back into the conference room, and thank you for watching AITV, the official broadcasting network for this entire event tonight. We appreciate your work, we appreciate all the activities that are going on, and we hope to have you again. Please keep watching the show. I'll be back with another person to interview and ask a few questions that are really key. Keep sending your comments and questions, we'll be able to get the answers. Thank you.
Tejja kuwera bwewera ngenda kujjako omuzindalo si mu bubi naye mu bulungi because we want to have many more others discussed. Thank you so much.
Neyanziza nnyo okumpa obukisa guno. Amanya gange nze Zamulasta Kasumba ngenda kwogera mu Luganda. Nze njagala kusooka kwebaza abategese omukolo guno. It is so historical to me. Ekisookera ddala njagala kwogera ku logistics. Bamemba abava e Kampala bwe mubanga mujja mutuleeterangako ku flyers ne tuzidistributing mbanaffe ne bamanya ki ekiri ku mmeeza e Kampala. Ne manifesto nze mpagira buwagizi olwa passion gye nnina naye sirabangako ku manifesto. Ekiddako ekirala mbadde nsaba ffenna abali wano accountability ejja kujja. Siri mu leadership naye mugyogeddeko. Mbadde nsaba buli ali wano ne gwe twaleseeka buli mwezi batuwa account tekengako olw'ekkumi olwa wano. Bwe tuba abantu 100 kubisaamu olabe sente ze tunaaba nazo nkiwa tetujja kuba tetwetaaga kintu kyonna sente yaffe nga weeri. Ekyokusatu federo. Nina ka video ke nalabye okuva e Dubai ng'omwana akoogerako aka federo. Bannange tugyetaaga nga bwe tugiina wano tugisabe neeka tujja gifuna tujja kulaakulana. Ekyokusatu ekyokuna ekisemberayo ddala tunoonye engeri gye tugenda okuyambamu bannaffe abava mu makomera n'abakyaliyo ne families zaabwe ng'omwami yayogedde ku businesses ze tuba tutandika. Neyanziza nnyo neyanzeege n'asanyuka nga munyongedde omukisa omulala. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. Yeah, we have another lady here, all the way from
Maryland, a Sierra Leonean, a Ugandan at heart. Okay, my question is for the Secretary General, Joseph had spoken while you were outside. He said that the president, our president, Bobiwine, had some opportunities of coming to the United States to speak to the media and speak to the he was a candidate to become president, and so many other opportunities, and this one here also was one that was also missed. So I was trying to find out who is supposed to be held accountable, who was supposed to be responsible to make sure that all of these interviews that our president missed, we are removing a dictator, okay? We are here removing a dictator. Every opportunity missed is people's life. Come on, you all need to wake up. We don't have time. You all have to stand up for the people in Uganda, please. This type of stuff needs to be cut off, and we need an answer why they were missed. They were not supposed to happen in the first place. And also, I'm sorry, sir, we want you to write to the African Union. When Guinea made a coup, they all rise up. But when they made a coup on the Constitution, nobody is speaking. And we are rising. We must free Uganda. So people have to be held accountable. Thank you.
All the way from Sierra Leone. Thank you so much, our dear sister. Thank you for loving Uganda. We appreciate you. 1 minute, sir.
Nze nja kwogera mu Luganda. Amannya gange bampita Richard Muyombya. Nyimirira okudifendinga people power ne Uganda. Nakamala mu liberation struggle emyaka 40. Nakamala emyaka 20 mu America. Katudifendinga change ya Uganda. Problem gye tusanze mu diaspora. Twatandika kuyuna buno obuzannyo bolaba wano olwaleero nga bwe buli ne tugivaamu. Ne tudda mu ggwanga mujje obuzannyo ne bujja ne tugivaamu. Kati obuzannyo buzze mu people power. Twabawadde ssente, bwe mwagala ssente endala, bwe mutugamba nti obudde tebuliiwo, tujja kubongera endala. Why don't we go into political forum and solve our problems at home? Abantu bali makomera bafa babakuba. Wulira nkyamaliriza. Ekintu kyokka ekisooka okutununula. Akalulu ketulwanirira ke kalulu akabbibwa. Ffe ba political genius tukyalina amagezi agasuula mu 7 tetulinda 2026 kuba ajjako akyekimu ne mutabani we mukiraba lwaki mutuuza mu 2026 tulina kujjako mu 7 ne mutabani we tumugaana okuyingira mu bukulembeze ne bwe tuba tukyali mu sakasolo gwe tulimu leero a day wasted. It's a day wasted. Nkyogera nkibabuulira mutuwe obudde tupresentinga ensonga tuzidebatinga tufune resolutions tugende mu maaso.
Kati abasigadde akazindalo ngenda kabakwatira.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fiona Nalubwama. I come from North Carolina and I'm the chapter leader. I'll not differ from the previous speakers, but I have a few more points to make and emphasize on what has been spoken so far. One thing that is bothering me is NUP, you should stop calling yourselves the government in waiting. No, you are the government right now because the government back home is doing the contrary. Whatever is being done by the labels, they're the ones doing it. So we, the government, are fighting the labels back home. Please stop calling yourselves the government in waiting. That's number one. Number two, somebody mentioned about the structures, the leaders visiting other chapters. Yes, I come from North Carolina, whereby I had a group of over 200 people. What happened is there are people planted by Mr. Museveni who started saying Fiona is Museveni's agent. The moment you socialize with her or you associate with her, you are doomed. I became the rebel instead. But if I had a group behind me to visit me, maybe today North Carolina would have been far much better than maybe Boston. But I had to emerge to DMV because of what happened in North Carolina. Please, our leaders, think about that. We need hope. Don't just put us there and leave us. Please follow us, support us. We need your backs, okay? Number 3, I just want to know who's responsible. This goes to the Kampala team. I just want to know who is responsible about the principal's travels or Mr. President's travels. Mr. Joseph Senyonjo talked about him missing 3 times. I was heartbroken. Can you imagine when you've got press conferences organized in different towns or cities or senates? You get it? It's very hard to get politicians of America because they have their calendar programs allocated for almost a year. But if they manage to fix you in, then again you come with your Africanism in you that I'm sorry I didn't make it because I didn't read the COVID is something. It portrays a very bad picture. Please, the Kampala people, do us a favor. Don't shame us next time. Read the COVID updates, and any other time we should not be embarrassed to this extent. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. Twagala bebaza nnyo. Because of time, we cannot go on and on and on because there will be a response needed. So, Doctor, back to you.
So thank you, everybody. I think we needed a session to debate issues based on what I've heard from individuals, but thank you everyone who has shown up today. We have taken your ideas, your input, and reach out to us if you are not able to ask your question or make a comment. Reach out to me, Mr. Ismail or Mr. Zakayo, so we include all of your ideas in our package. So with that, we are going to wrap this up. We are going to present a paper to the group. Eventually, it will be communicated to all your chapter leaders, and then they will share it with you. So thank you so much. People power. People power. Everywhere. Thank you.
Yeah, a round of applause for the team. Thank you so much, Mr. Zakayo Nsubuga, Dr. Daniel Kauma, and Mr. Ismail Serunjojo. Thank you so much. Right now, I just want us to put our hands together and welcome our SG. He will let us know who from the team in Kampala will be able to brief us. He knows his team better than us. So, David, sir, we welcome you. Let us welcome him in a more honorable way.
Chairman, lwaki toja n'onyamba mukano? Tugenda kuyimbaka. People power is our power. Our power is real power.
People power is our power. Muimirireko.
Real power.
People power is our power. Our power is real. Kyagulanyi is our president. Kyagulanyi is our umbrella is our symbol. Umbrella is our symbol. People power. Tukoleyo kana keggulo. Everybody hit the floor. Follow me, please. Zoga, zoga, zoganya, zoga, zoga, zoganya, zoga, zoga, zoganya, buli woli zoganya. And our anthem, please. Olutalo nga luwedde. Tuliyambale ngule. Tuliyambale ngule. Olutalo nga luwedde. Tuliyambale ngule.
engule zimasamasa olutalo nga luwedde tuyambale engule tulivima. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown in a new Uganda. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, comrades, brothers and sisters in the struggle. First of all, I really want to appreciate the concerns and questions. I wanted to recognize Councillor Ameli. Has he gone out? He was seated right there, and I wanted to recognize him and appreciate him. I was also very, very delighted to see Professor Milton Alimadi around. He's a comrade that we get a lot of inspiration from in many, many, many ways. And many of you also who are here, Sembajwe used to be in the struggles previously, so it's always good to catch up and touch base. Comrades, I really, really don't want to in any way undermine the questions and concerns raised here. Earlier on, we had a debriefing meeting with the team of organizers, and our view had been that we should have a closed-door meeting to have some of those issues raised amongst ourselves as leaders and as the members here present, because we should always remember, ladies and gentlemen, that we are dealing with a dictator. We are fighting a dictatorship which uses every opportunity and every information you give them to hit back at you. A lot of information which some of you may not see available. We sit in meetings and say, should we put this information out? Like the comrades who are here reading about welfare and all that. And then they realized actually that if you stand here on this podium and you start breaking down, this is how we raised money, this is where we got it from, this is what we did, you are endangering the people who actually did that. And we've seen very many instances when that has happened. So we need to find better ways of doing these things, and we can always discuss, have these discussions amongst ourselves. I've had a very, very recurrent issue about the leadership. How do we select the diaspora leader? And we want to have a debate. Not just the leader, but the leaders of the diaspora. We want to have a debate with you. Tell you our experiences, you tell us your experiences, and let the best argument win. Because we believe in democracy, and we want democracy to flourish. But then the question is, of course, yes, again, I'm speaking in front of these cameras and all that, but the way, for example, the dictatorship in Uganda manages to use elections, every election, infiltrate it and change the course of an organization. That's what we've seen, even political parties in Uganda. Are you not aware that the regime has infiltrated many, many political organizations, sponsored candidates, and given them resources to be able to divert the course of a political party, of a political movement? So these are the debates we need to have. But I do not think we should have them in the full glare of cameras. And if we feel that we are able to put safeguards in place and make sure that the leaders who we elect, for example, are going to represent our interests and are not going to bow to the dictates of the dictatorship, certainly. Maybe the president will tell you about this, but we also have intelligence within the system, and one of the things we know is that the dictatorship in Uganda is so worried about our diaspora effort. They are so worried about our diaspora effort because it has never happened before for them to be confronted by Ugandans in the diaspora the way we are doing as NUP and People Power. They wake up to a protest in South Africa, a protest in Zambia, a protest in New York, when Honorable Kyagulanyi was arrested in Arua, you remember what Job U comrades did and put the dictatorship on the spot. So we want to make sure that every decision we take is clearly and carefully interrogated for the best interest of the struggle that we are involved in. So I wanted to assure you that everything is open for discussion. We are open to learn, to take suggestions, But I think there is a Luganda saying, JBMuwonge, we would love to have a very deliberate discussion. And let's have a discussion. I've just told the organizers this morning that we can have that meeting. And the president can also be part of it online. And we listen to each other. And after that, get a clear course of action. And we are willing to take suggestions from you. So the question of leadership, that's what I wanted to say about that. Of course, I also recognize that sometimes there's a communication gap between the Secretariat and the diaspora, but we are constrained many times in terms of human resource capacity. Initially, many of you people in the diaspora, actually, I always laugh at Comrade Herman and say that a lot of times he used to speak about issues in Uganda from a very, very detached view, and he says, why don't you do this, why don't you do this? And we would tell him our experiences. But I remember the first day he came to Uganda, and he went to northern Uganda to help with election guarding. He was immediately arrested. And I don't remember how many days he took there. But his account was that some of the people he was with, he suspects highly that they were compromised and therefore are the ones who gave him out. So that is the situation you're dealing with when you're dealing with a dictator. I want you friends to understand that we are fighting a dictatorship. And I'm very glad that our senior comrade here gave us these thoughts that when you're dealing with a dictatorship, there are things that you would love to do, but you cannot do because of the reality on the ground. And I encourage you, comrades, to come to the ground and understand the situation firsthand. Because a lot of times it's easy to look at it from a distance. But let me give an example. I came here yesterday and somebody was saying, NUP, let's do structures in Uganda. Let's build structures, let's build structures. And I reminded him that actually one of the biggest challenges we got in people power was the day we announced structures. The day we announced coordinators, and I can give you all the names. The deputy presidents are here. We announced the coordinators in Western Uganda, in the north, in east, and that they were just bought off in about 2-3 weeks. But remember, we were announcing these coordinators to deal with a certain problem of saying, why don't you have structures? We got candidates, and I remember people started writing to me as Secretary General, I have decided to get out of the election. Now, please write to the Electoral Commission withdrawing my name. After doing what? Deals with NRM candidates. Someone goes, they give him 200 million shillings, he abandons your flag. So am I saying then that we shouldn't have structures? No. I'm saying let's discuss these things, interrogate them. Sometimes when we take some time before we take a step on something, some people might easily say, why don't you want to have structures? It is because of our experiences. And I can remind you, comrades, you go and watch the video when Honorable Kyagulanyi, our president, was reading our coordinators at the time from Northern Region. I think Mamalina will tell you how, I don't know how many are still standing in that area. Western Region, one tells you I was given a tractor to look after my garden and therefore I abandoned the cause. Another says, Museveni promised to pay my school fees, so I abandoned the cause. Another, but of course, that's why I said that these discussions which are in-house maybe would have been better for us to discuss them at that level. We share experiences and try to see which way is better for all of us. Now, somebody talked about manifesto. Our manifesto is online. Kindly just go to our website and you'll find our manifesto there. The other question that has come up consistently is the question of the president's failure to come. And we really, really take full responsibility. Maybe we should have found out his team. He has a team that manages him. Definitely, as Secretary General and the other leaders who are here, they do not manage the president's schedule. He has his personal assistant and secretaries and all that. But it was an oversight, a big oversight, and we are also reviewing his team around him to see how we can strengthen it and make it bigger. But I also want to talk about my experience in this meeting. Maybe the team I came with can be the one to even project it better. When we were coming here yesterday, I reached Qatar, and they put me aside. They came out and read my name and put me aside and said, you've been to Amsterdam. I said, but I've not been to Amsterdam. They said, you've been there 2 weeks ago. That's what we see in the system. They asked me questions, blah, blah, blah. And I gave them my passport, that wasn't there. So I left and came here. And when I go to Logan here, it's the same thing. People put me aside and said, your passport shows that you've been in Europe, blah, blah, that's what our system shows. And you remember how long I took in that room where they normally take people before they are deported, before I could join the team. So we are also trying to find out if maybe that was a case of sabotage somewhere, because it's a possibility. You all remember, comrades, that a few weeks ago, I was meant to travel with the president to Zambia for the presidential inauguration. We did not give details at the time for a reason, but now maybe I can talk about it. We did our tests early morning, emergency, and we were within time. They said by, I think, 4 p.m. you'll have your results back. We waited, there were no results, waited, there were no results. Our flight was, I think, 9 p.m., waited, there are no results, go to the airport. They escaped, they're going to come maybe at 6 p.m., they did not come, 7 p.m., they did not come, and we couldn't go. The swearing in was the following day. And the people at the medical lab kept saying that that had never happened, because the thing kept bringing invalid. So that is how we're not able to attend a very, very important event of that magnitude. So again, comrades, please let's be mindful that we are dealing with a dictatorship. And that day, earlier on in the morning, they kept calling us, different people, myself and other leaders, who is representing NUP, because I had gotten some information that we must be going. Who is representing NUP at the, and we kept making sure that we don't give them this information. But as you know, the COVID results are centrally controlled through the Ministry of Health. So I think we highly suspect, of course, that this was the regime making sure that they sabotage that particular travel. So that I wanted to explain that and say that where we have faults or oversights, definitely we take full responsibility, and we'll try very, very hard next time to make sure that the president comes, and I'm sure he will offer that apology even by himself. Again, it's sometimes very sad to see the work we do at the Secretariat, for example, is just too much. You have a small team dealing with the whole country, and every time you come there, you'll find people there, because as NUP, we need three things, three kinds of people, resource people. You want someone who is competent, you want someone who is available, who has the time, and you need someone who is reliable, who is not going to sell out. And our experience in the struggle has been that it is very, very difficult to get a person who has these three qualities. Most of the people are available, and I can tell you that most of our foot soldiers are available. But maybe because of one reason or the other, the competence levels to be able to deal with some of these sophisticated matters, they may not have that kind of training. And the people who are well trained are not available. They are busy in offices. You know, the intellectuals or elite in Uganda, very few are actually involved in the struggle for change. Or they are actually involved, but they don't want to be in the murky waters. Again, because of the dictatorial environment in which we operate, people fear to lose their lives, to lose their jobs, to lose families, to lose whatever. So you end up with people who have the competences that you require for these jobs as a very, very small group of people. I think there are other things that I've heard. Thank you, Comrade Alimadi, for reminding us that the Ugandans elected us to take leadership and that we should behave like a government in power and we should create jobs for the people. I think that's something we need to interrogate. We've been talking to our leaders, and if you see the record of our leaders who are elected, they are trying so hard to serve the people. We are trying to do mobilization activities, we are trying to do charity events, we are trying to do general cleaning events, we are trying to build hospitals, buy ambulances, and most of the NUP leaders are doing this work, which ordinarily should be done by government. But you remember, for example, there was a huge debate about the money that MPs normally get, and within ourselves we said, should this money be returned? It will just be, again, be embezzled like all the rest has been. Should it be taken to buy these cars or whatever? Then we said, you know what? Maybe the MPs, the individual leaders, should use this money to buy ambulances, to focus on education and healthcare. And if you go in almost every NUP-led constituency, not all of them, but majority of them took this advice, and they are trying to serve their people as much as they can. Someone has talked about the question of writing to the US and to the African Union, and I think I'm fully in agreement with that. We need to remind these people, and those are some of the strategies we should be discussing here. How do we make sure that the hypocrisy of the world ends? You know, you just saw what happened in Uganda. Ugandans were killed on the streets in hundreds, over 100 by our estimates in November. And the AU did not release any statement. They did not release any statement to condemn the barbaric killing of Ugandans on the streets of Kampala. But the following day, when there is a coup or something, they come in, impose sanctions and all that. So we need to continue the pressure, and I think that's what we were doing yesterday at the United Nations, stop funding our oppression. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to again reiterate that the leadership in Kampala is not a separate leadership from the diaspora. We should be a team, and we should work as a team, and we should strengthen the communication, make sure that there's information flow as much as possible. And we are here for you, to make sure we listen to you, take these views, and try to implement them as much as possible within the circumstances under which we operate. I want to appreciate all of you. NUP, both here and in Uganda, has always mostly worked on volunteerism. Some of the comrades who are, of course, sometimes face a lot of criticism and backlash and all that, have been people who just, when we are looking, people said, I'm here, let me work. And so it was volunteerism at the start, and as we go along, I think we are going to structure better and see that we move forward. I thank you all for listening to me. May God bless you and keep you. Okay. Okay. The President will be with us shortly, but before then I want to invite Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Aisha Kabanda, to add a word or two in the 10 minutes before we have the President speak to us. I thank you.
Thank you, my Secretary General. These are very rare occasions when a senior invites a junior. Thank you so much, my Secretary General. Once again, my name is Aisha Kabanda. I am the Deputy Secretary General, but also Woman Member of Parliament for Tambala District. Oh yes, people power. And I must say, I got overwhelming support from the diaspora. Thank you so much, diaspora team, for supporting us as members of Parliament to fight the cause for our individual constituencies, as well as the general cause for the whole country, Uganda. You supported the President and supported the MPs. Thank you so much. And as a person who was leading the
AITV, today we're not in our studios, we're in the field, so and we're broadcasting live for the NUP People Power Retreat that is taking place here in our diaspora. They're here today and tomorrow. The discussion is still going on. You've heard from the Secretary General of the National Unity Platform. He has answered so many questions that the people in the diaspora have been wondering about. Why isn't the diaspora community connecting with the Secretariat back in Uganda? Why are they not moving hand in hand? You've also had him answering the question of why are key things that are supposed to be done not being done, and he has clearly explained it, that the environment back in Uganda is not really good for them to execute projects as they are expected from, especially us, the diaspora community. But our job is to make sure that we send you all the information from the right key people to the one person to another. Right now, the speaker who is handling the mic right now is Honorable Aisha Kabanda. She's answering, of course, a few questions and answers, and we expect in a few minutes from now, Honorable Robert Chagrin to give his speech to communicate, to talk to the people in the diaspora who have been waiting for him all this long, who expected to see him physically, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. So the questions are still going on. Answers need to be answered. Why did he not show up? Why did his technical team fail to know that COVID restrictions are active now and tomorrow? They're not yet over. United States is so strict. These are the questions that everybody's asking, but for now, we know they will be answered in one way or the other. Questions will be asked, the answers will be given, and things will keep on going. We anticipate, like I mentioned to you earlier on, that he's going to be speaking to diaspora people. Questions are going to be asked. Against Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi. Is he going to talk about the People Power 55 key objectives that they are following? Governance, good governance, health. Is he going to talk about human rights that are going on in the country? How people are being affected? Is he going to talk about the same key issues that, he has always raised issues of poor governance, corruption, the undemocratic system of President Museveni, who is now currently the president of the country. These are the questions that people are expecting Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi to answer. But who knows? Will he talk about them? Nobody knows yet. I have tried to ask the Secretary General and key different members who are here who actually have direct contact with him, and they're all saying President Robert Kyagulanyi is a man of wonders. You never know what he's going to talk about until he says it out. So that's what you're waiting for. My team is now connecting with me that in a few minutes he will be live talking to the people virtually. I know maybe you may have internet issues that we've had before, so don't get surprised. But I know that everyone is doing an amazing job to make sure that Honorable Kyagulanyi speaks to his people. Right now, my team is asking me that we should be going back to the conference room where Honorable Kyagulanyi is going to be speaking to the diaspora community and you who is watching AITV right now. Again, just to remind you, we are the official media platform that is airing out to this entire session. Right from here, we are going to the boat cruise, just have some entertainment where, again, people are expecting Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi to come and entertain them, sing for them. He's, apart from politics, he's also a musician, and not just a common musician, but someone who is in a legendary capacity. So a lot is going to be missed because he did not make it physically here, but that does not stop us from moving forward. The discussion is going on, and we're expecting more tomorrow. We will be streaming live and broadcasting in different platforms all around the world, and we anticipate a number of people to enjoy everything that is going on. For now, we thank you so much for watching AITV. We thank you for being part of the session. We thank you for engaging. The questions that have been asked, we have heard from the audience here. They've asked tremendous questions. One of the participants asked, why isn't the diaspora coordinating effectively with the people on ground in Uganda? Another person asked, is the People Power Organization registered here in the United States of America? These questions are so critical that need serious answers from key stakeholders. But also, we cannot forget, Secretary General David Muwonge mentioned that some of the things need to be handled in a closed-door meeting because of the environment in which they operate in Uganda. So questions that need to be asked, answers need to be given. Right now, I'll take you back into the conference room and see what's going on. And as we wait for Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi to give his speech that many of you who are watching AITV right now and those who are in the conference room have been waiting for. I'll be back with other members. Pretty much we may have Zedriga, the Vice Chairperson of the NUP. Come maybe give us a word. For now, I'll take you back in the conference room. Thank you so much for always watching AITV. My name again is David Muwonge. I'll be back here shortly before the session ends.
Wonderful, wonderful man, and I appreciate and we honor him so much. And this is none other than, he has been in the fight, he's a comrade, he's a counsel, and I want you to put together your hands and let's hear briefly from Counsel Wameli Anthony, our very own, and I will take the microphone to him. You will allow him to speak from where he is. Yeah, let's all be attentive, and after that, we will let you know what's going to happen. Thank you so much. We are humbled to have you, sir. Thank you for being present here today.
Thank you so much. People power. People power. Thank you so much. My name is Wameli Anthony. I'm happy to be here. Amen. First of all, I thank God for my life, that he has brought me this far. For the last about 4 or 5 months, I've gone through so much, but I thank God that I'm able to stand. Amen. Then I also want to thank the NUP leadership throughout Uganda and the diaspora. I want to thank the president, wherever he is, and the secretary general, and also the leader of the diaspora team here, Mr. Ainebiona, and Ismail. Ismail is not here, but oh, he's there, yes. These guys have been so great. I have not wanted anything because they've made sure that I'm comfortable, amen. I'm in a very tricky situation, health-wise, that I've never been before, but these guys have made it look normal and easy, and I know with the will of God and the power of God, I will be through. Amen. I'm here for treatment. I've been here for about 2 weeks after I traveled back, and I think according to the doctors, I could be here for about 3 more months, still undergoing the treatment. But I want to encourage you guys that let us not give up. You still can do so much. I thank God that even while here in the sickness I'm suffering, I've been able to make some applications, like Mubiru James, and is out of prison. So I realized that you can do something no matter where and how you are. I want to thank you so much for the support, financial, spiritual, and otherwise that you've offered to me and my family, and I trust that all is going to be well. I also want to give a testimony to show the devil that is a liar. Amen. When I came back, I think came back, not came back the second time. When I came back, I was so devastated because I thought I'd moved on and was beginning to pick up with my work. So I was so downcast. But I want to thank God that even in hospital when I was alone, I received communication that the Uganda Law Society voted Wameli Anthony as the best criminal defense lawyer in Uganda. Amen. And I also want to thank God that in the same vein, the Uganda Law Society voted Wameli and Company Advocates as the best firm in Uganda.
We are going to have a number of key people to come and explain to us what exactly is going on down here. Of course, we've had different key speakers, we've had different information from different individuals. So I'm here today again with Dr. Daniel Kauma. He has been the chairman, or he is the chairman of the National Inter-Platform Diaspora Organization Structures Review Committee. And you know, I want to thank you, first of all. You gave a very wonderful speech down there explaining what this committee is all about. But quick question, what should people expect out of this committee?
So the idea of having this committee is like, last year, People Power and NUP were a new organization to the diaspora. So they put together structures leading up to the election. But right now it's post-election time. So we're trying to look at reevaluating those structures and trying to ask ourselves, are those structures working today in mobilizing the diaspora the way we want it mobilized? Because the diaspora has played a key role in influencing the political affairs happening in our country, both in terms of funding, in terms of lobbying for good policy, in terms of making sure we reach out to stakeholders, and how we can improve the plight of Ugandans. So our idea of reassessing these structures is to flash a torch into how we are running right now the National Unity Platform in the diaspora, and saying, are we making the most of the resources, of the talents that we have? And that's why we created this committee. We have looked at a series of different structures. We reached out to leaders in NUP and community members and asking them, what more do you want to see from NUP? And that's the question we're asking today, the audience.
All right, so, you know, we have had such committees before in different political organizations that are trying to host President Museveni. You and I know he's been in power for more than 35 years. But what is so unique this time that out of what you guys came up with, we are going to see something new?
I think our focus here is mobilizing the diaspora. Because we understand the political terrain in Uganda is very challenging in terms of trying to win elections. So, but the question is that what more, because the diaspora can do more. in terms of influencing the affairs of what's happening in Uganda. Because we have over 2 million Ugandans living in the diaspora. So imagine if we were to tap into that diaspora base to try to assist our fellow countrymen, not just for power change, but improving their livelihoods. Mr. Alimadi told about creating jobs, because we cannot always say, because we can't get the seat in the State House, we cannot affect the livelihoods of Uganda. I, for one, have been out lobbying to make sure we get COVID vaccines in Uganda. So there are some things which we can do to demonstrate to the people we can govern. Because the challenge that a lot of people look at People Power and NUP and say, you people are just trouble causers, you cannot govern. But by being constructive, by putting together structures that can actually create jobs for people, that can create healthcare opportunities for people, that can divert resources to people who need them, we can guarantee Ugandans that if NUP is elected in power, this is how they govern. This is the impact they can have on the community.
All right, so there has been an issue of accountability, and today David Lubongoya mentioned that some of these things may be discussed in closed-door meetings. In your opinion, when you come up with these structures, do you think this is going to be the way forward, that everything should be discussed in closed-door meeting, or there is need for that open accountability amongst NUP supporters?
There are some things which have to be discussed behind closed doors, but there are some issues which we have to disclose to the membership. Because the membership have to understand that the leaders are responsive to their needs. Because if you go and say, donate towards this cause, people want to know what's their money doing. So those are the structures we are trying to propose to make sure that the leader of the diaspora has a team around himself. And I mentioned this is not a criticism of Haman and his team, but rather how can we help them? And that's what the question I raised, that how can we help them to be effective leaders? And you do that by creating structures around them, by making sure they have the resources they need, they have the teams around them, professionals who know how to run these things, and they can run their jobs effectively. So for me, that's how I look at it. You get accountability by having a director of finance around Haman. You get accountability by having a professional accountant around Haman. Because Haman is a leader, but he didn't do finance, he didn't do accounting. So you need people who are professionals to do legal work, do accounting. That's how you continue to grow the party. So that's really what we are proposing today.
So then lastly, Dr. Daniel, the question has been about communication. Members have asked the same question. In previous shows that I've had, political shows, the same question has been coming up. That did they have?
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank people power, our power, and NUP, and everywhere.
eno bagamba yabano genda wano ku kompyuta yo eri mute.
Yes, I have to translate it. What I said.
To human services and quality education, healthy services for all. The diaspora people have been asking these questions. Will he be in position to address all these key important issues? And we anticipate that that is very important. We believe that something is going to change out of the discussions. That is very important. Again, I'm sorry I was distracted by my cameraman here, but let's look at the key things that I mentioned earlier. Is he going to talk about? Is he going to talk? All right. So Bobiwine is now ready to talk, and I'm going to take you back into the conference room. Thank you. I'll be back.
Hello? Hello?
Number of key things that are happening here. So we believe that the discussion is going to be big here, and we expect Honorable Roberts are going to give his address here, and I am glad that my team is working so hard to make sure that we have the best. So I'm joined by Hillary Seguya. Hillary, this is not new to you. You've been through all these conferences. You've attended a number of activities. Now, I want to ask you a question. What do you expect out of this conference tonight?
Well, I believe that we're here as comrades in struggle, and we've come to deliberate on different issues on how we can strengthen this movement, because this is a movement that is about bringing fundamental change in our country, Uganda. And we believe that very soon we shall have all the strategies that are going to enable us to destroy or to dismantle the triangular dynasty of Despot Museveni. And we believe that soon Uganda will be free from tyranny.
All right, sure. I've had a number of key speakers. Someone came, Dr. Daniel Kauma and the team mentioned about the Structure Review Committee. These things have been happening in the diaspora before. We have seen during the days of Dr. BSJ, we have seen a number of things like this happening. Do you think this is going to be different this time?
Well, of course, as you know, that challenges are inevitable in all political parties. But it's all about uniting yourselves and also making sure that you move forward in whatever you bring. So, and also making sure that you solve whatever challenges you have very fast. So I believe that with our leadership here in Boston and also in the diaspora, we shall be able to bring the change in our country, Uganda. So we believe that, of course, we're going to be very different, because right now you see we are unique from other political parties. And we believe that this new foundation of NUP is going to be, the revolution of all political parties in Uganda. And we believe that we shall bring that change we have. We want to see in our country, Uganda, for a better country.
All right, sure. This is some question I've asked a number of other people I've interviewed tonight, that there has been a glitch between the communication between the diaspora community and the people at the Secretariat. Do you, according to you, do you think we are going to see something new after this diaspora convention that has taken place tonight?
Yes, I believe that, of course, we've come here to deliberate on issues, to share ideas. And of course, we believe that the Secretariat back home in Kampala is going to also get some takeaways from this retreat. And I believe they will implement the changes, because they want us to move forward and also to move on one goal, because our mission is to make sure that we move in one direction to liberate ourselves. So I believe that changes will be implemented, and we shall see, of course, a better NUP in diaspora.
All right, last question is about the demonstrations that have been taking place. Yesterday, I saw you in New York. But for now, Hillary, I'm going to let you go and get back to Honorable Robert Chagun, who's going to be giving a speech. Thank you. All right, I'll have you again.
Mr. President, come through. Okay. My sound is on. This is on. That's on. Okay, as a way of testing the sound, people power. Our power. People power. Our power. Great. Please confirm that I am on sound. Okay, hello, greetings, fellow Ugandans. Apologies for the technical glitch. I hope I am live and clear on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. I want to greet you, fellow Ugandans who are gathered in Boston today. I salute you. I also greet you, friends, fellow Ugandans who are joining us in solidarity. I salute you very much. Today, ladies and gentlemen, in a very special way, I want to salute our comrade, Comrade Anthony Wameri, who is present today here with us. Comrade Wameri, I thank God that you could marshal up the energy to attend this conference. The last time I spoke to you, you were not feeling very well, but by the grace of God, you are with us today and you will definitely get well soon. Thank the Almighty God. It's very sad, comrades, that I was not able to physically attend this conference owing to the travel restrictions, but we thank God that nevertheless I am able to communicate and be with you, although, virtually. I appreciate you, fellow Ugandans, for the Uganda Action Day yesterday. I watched, and the entire world watched, as you stood up to be counted, as you asserted our voices. I really felt honored, I felt represented, and many Ugandans, comrades, felt represented by your action yesterday. I want the world to know, and indeed all of us to remember, that our objective is to show the world that it is not only immoral, but it's unacceptable to stand with a dictatorship that is killing people, maiming people, to stand with a regime that just blatantly rigged elections, that massacred people. We should continue putting it in the face of these development partners that, they are coming off as partners in crime when they hobnob with a renowned dictator, and the only way to put it across is to stand and be counted. So I thank you, comrades, for making it yesterday to New York. We watched, and I'm sure it will inspire many other Ugandans to continue standing up morally, non-violently, but of course, very assertively. You, comrades, have been playing a big role, a big role in the struggle back home. Of course, while appreciating the countries that stood with us, we must stand with ourselves. You, the diaspora comrades, are playing a great job right from the days of beginning of the People Power movement to today. You have supported the comrades in the struggle, but again, in many years, Ugandans in the diaspora have come out unprecedentedly. They have not only directly been involved in the struggle for change back home, but they've been involved massively. It has not been happening the way it is happening. And I hope that we find the courage to push on forward, to become more and not to become lesser. Friends, Museveni is scared. Museveni is scared of the diaspora, and rightly so. Museveni knows the role the diaspora played in the 1980s when they are fighting against Obote. They know what they call in their books the external wing of the NRA. Those are the guys that went from country to country, exposing the Obote excesses, the Obote regime, demonizing it. And that was a very big factor in their win. So Museveni knows what happens. Museveni knows that while we talk, while we expose the regime back home, it is much more effective when it's done in the diaspora. And that is why they are investing millions and millions of dollars to, pay companies to cleanse the already blood-stained image of the regime. You, comrades in America, you have seen, companies. There's this company that recently was, forced to part ways with General Museveni in America, but I'm informed that they are still working with the Museveni regime in the UK. The company is called Mercury. And many other companies, many other lobbyists have been paid in millions taxpayers' money to cleanse the regime. But of course, comrades, with your relentless efforts, not even the lobbyists that are paid to cleanse the blood-stained regime, the blood-stained image, of the Museveni regime will help him in any way. So we salute you, comrades. You know you're playing a big, big, big role. The protesting, the pressuring of the governments and the leaders where you come from, but also it goes to supporting the foot soldiers that are here. You supported us through the campaign. We never lacked. I always say that Museveni wants the world to think that we are supported by whites, that we are supported by foreign powers. But you know as well as I know that it is you, comrades in the diaspora, that have supported us through the presidential election. You've supported comrades in prison. You've supported those that are in hospitals, and you continue to support their families. So the role of the diaspora cannot be overemphasized, comrades. We salute you, and always remember that you are playing a big, big, big role. Like I was trying to say, the regime is scared. Besides paying lobbyists, they are trying as much as possible to infiltrate and destabilize and disorganize our leadership all over the world, especially in the diaspora, because according to them, that is the only way they can survive. The Museveni regime is planting spies all over the world, and of course you wouldn't be surprised if you have some amongst yourselves right now. I can only continue to encourage you, comrades, to be, relentless, to be, vigilant, to look out and to continuously assert yourselves and assert the values that you stand for and push on the cause, because we rely on you so much. The nation relies on you, gentlemen and ladies, so much. Allow me, friends, to reassure you that we won the January 14th election here in Uganda. And I'm talking to you not only as the president of the National Unity Platform, but as the president of the Republic of Uganda. Although General Museveni, using the military and of course using Mr. Byabakama and his electoral commission, he usurped the voice of the people and once again imposed himself on the people of Uganda, using the abductions of our people, the rampant arrests, the November massacres, and the like. He was able to suppress the voices of the people and to prevent them from rising up to demand their victory. So, did it end there? Of course not. I must remind you, comrades, that fighting a dictatorship is not a sprint, it's a marathon. In Sudan, for example, you remember that the people of Sudan made various efforts to rise up to free themselves from the tyrant regime of Omar el-Bashir. But every now and then, quite a number of on a number of occasions, Bashir was able to suppress the people of Sudan until that one time in April 2019. So our time is soon coming. Let us continue pushing on. Let us not give up. Like I said, fighting a dictatorship is not a sprint. It is a marathon. We need to prepare our minds to go for the long drive. In terms of tactics, of course, we must do everything within our power to make sure that the dictatorship, the Museveni dictatorship, falls to death. In terms of tactics, we should do that. We should aim at making the regime fall as soon as now. But in terms of strategy, while we think about today, we must also prepare for tomorrow. We must prepare our minds for the long run. Because in any case, comrades, do we have an option? No, we don't have an option. So while we find the comfort in knowing that, not a single movement or organization has been able to shake the regime to its nerve in just a short time, I must remind you, comrades, that we don't have very many options. We either fight on and continue fighting, or we resign to slavery, which many of us agreed not to do. We are not going to resign to slavery. Uganda is our country, and we are going to free ourselves, or we shall die trying to free ourselves. We don't have an option. Remember, friends, because everybody has seen it, that Museveni is building a monarch in Uganda. everything that is happening shows you the strategy Museveni is having, from the abductions to the torture of our people, to the arrest of Honorable Sejirinya and Honorable Sewanyana, to the mass murders. I mean, even the murders and attempted murders of high-ranking military and police officers, especially those that are deemed to be a threat to the monarch that Museveni is creating, speaks volumes. You have all seen and been disturbed by the constant deaths of outspoken religious leaders, those who are critical of the injustices occasioned by the Museveni regime. We've all seen them die in a very unexplained manner, from Bishop Kagwa to Sheikh Muzata, Sheikh Anas Kalisa, and of course the unexplained death of the Archbishop Cyprian Chistoranga, to the recent one. That should cause us to question, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to know and to reaffirm this to your comrades, that the Museveni family is in a shopping spree. Yes, the Museveni family is on a shopping spree, buying whoever is up for sale, using the money borrowed in our names, in the names of your children and your children's children, and also using the money squeezed out of the people, especially in these disturbing times, trying and indeed succeeding many times in buying and co-opting critical voices from musicians, artists, to academicians, religious leaders, and even civil society actors. So we should know that we are up against a dictator, and I really agree with the words that our Secretary General has just communicated. We are up against a dictator, and we must be vigilant. It's a shame, of course, to see that some Ugandans, respectable Ugandans, have decided to opt for selling the future of their country, the future of their children and their children's children, for a quick gain and a quick buck. But the assurance that we have, that I want to reiterate to you, comrades, is that the people of Uganda are on the side of change. They are yearning for change, and they will get the change that they so badly desire. Friends, this retreat is very, very important. It's very important, and I hope through the discussions that we are having, that you are having, we can be able to look into ourselves and evaluate, see where we have come from, see where we are, and see where we are going. And I also hope that the leaders from Uganda will be able to share with you the experience from the ground, and maybe through the deliberations, the discussions, and the sharing of views and strategies, we can be able to find a better way of guiding the glorious men and women on the front line, especially those foot soldiers, the Ugandans from different walks of life that are resolved to chase away the Museveni dictatorship, which I can constantly assure you that we will succeed at. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage unity. I want to encourage unity amongst us comrades, amongst you, amongst the comrades and the chapters in the diaspora. We must look out for any temptation of diversion. We must look out for any temptation of tribalism. The Museveni regime has always tried to divide us along tribal lines, along class tribes, along class lines and various things, but most importantly, along tribal lines. So we must not fall prey to the Museveni tricks, because that is how that generation has been able to, that's how Museveni has been able to divide people. Good enough, we are from a generation that is already united. We are not together because we are friends. We are not together because we like each other's character. We are not together because we like each other's religions or each other's tribes. We are together because we share pains, because we share dreams and aspirations for this our country, Uganda. We don't have another. So it is important that even while we are still in the struggle, we find a way of understanding each other and embracing each other in our diversities. I want to encourage that, ladies and gentlemen, because I believe that has worked. It has worked here on ground. It will work in the diaspora. It will work all over the world. Conclusively, ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate in a very massive way the leadership of the diaspora. Thank you very much for the work that you are doing, the work that you've been doing, and the work that you continue to do. And I want to encourage you not to relent. I want to encourage you to keep going, to keep pushing. I also want to promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that I will be with you soon. I will not announce this time because, every time I announce that I'm going to be with you, something happens. So this time I'm not going to announce when I'm traveling, but I sure will be with you. One of the discussions, as I conclude, one of the very important discussions that I was very much looking forward to be part of is the streamlining and the strengthening of our diaspora leadership. Unfortunately, I did not come, but I pledge to soon come. Or you will organize a Zoom meeting, where we can have an open discussion and make suggestions. I want to note, ladies and gentlemen, that I have, and I'm sure other leaders have had and noted the various concerns that have been raised. And I want to pledge to you that together with the leadership, we should be able to address them in the coming days. I'm very glad to have spoken to you in this conference, and I'm looking forward to also speaking to you tomorrow and enjoying the talent that God gave to us, the talent that we are using for the betterment and freeing of our people. I thank you very much for listening to me, and I wish you fruitful deliberations. People power, our power.
People power.
Of Robert Shagulanyi. You really presented a number of issues, some of which we talked about earlier, the questions that many Ugandans have been asking, things like human rights violations, things like the way forward for NUP, things like the diaspora community. How can they coordinate hand in hand to make sure that the movement keeps on going and they can have difference, they can have change in the economy. But most importantly, the president encouraged more about unity amongst the diaspora leaders and the diaspora communities. This has been a very key problem amongst the diaspora community, at least from different sources we've tried to reach out to. Everyone has been saying we need more coordination, we need more unity. And today we've heard Honorable Robert Chagulanyi mentioning about the same key thing. He has also talked about spies in the diaspora community. Now, you've heard about these rumors on social media and other platforms. Today is different because he himself knows that the regime is doing much to make sure that they can gather information from different committees down here in the diaspora and send the information back to them. So that is very important. That is a very good question. That is a very key thing that people need to understand right now, and of course in the future as the country lays forward for where it's going. But he has talked about like I said, he has talked about the unity. He has talked about spies in the diaspora. He has talked about the importance of the diaspora community in the struggle and what he's going to do to make sure that the struggle continues. The Honorable Robert Chagulanyi has also mentioned that, yes, today he has not made it possible to be around physically to discuss a number of key issues. He is planning on coming again to meet with the diaspora communities to discuss the way forward of the leadership in the diaspora, because diaspora, according to him, plays a bigger role in making sure that we can see a difference in the political spectrum of the country. I've just been highlighting a few things that he has mentioned. He has talked about his physical attendance here. He has talked about the immoral standards of the current government led by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. This is very important when you hear it from the main man who leads such a big organization, the National Unity Platform. Question is, will all these words that they have discussed here and what he has talked about, or what he's going to share tomorrow, will they create an impact in making sure that we can have a new foundation? Now, right now, I'm joined by Ismail Selunjoji, who has been, he has been a very key personality in the, talk to Dr. Daniel Kauma about the future of these, committees, diaspora organization, the structures. Ismail, I asked the same question to Dr. Daniel Kauma. Will there be something new that we've not seen before in these structures you're talking about?
Thank you very much, my friend Julius. We are hoping not for only something new, but something better. The diaspora is made up of people that are very intelligent, and they come from different places. So we are saying, for all the organizations that are Ugandan, can we be better than them? But also, we know that there are organizations from other countries like Nigeria and Guinea, Sierra Leone that are here, that are doing it, and they have been successful in this discussion. So we are hoping to have a much larger discussion than what we had today, and from then we see how we can take it up. Just like the president has said, to continue to implement it in the best way, such that the dictator also does not infiltrate whatever structure that we get.
Sure, you mentioned about some of the things that Honorable Chagrani mentioned, and he talked about unity amongst the diaspora and the people back in Uganda, especially those who support the National Unity Platform and people power in general. What do you think has to be done to bring about that unity that people saw in the beginning of the people power movement?
I think the people are united. I think there's unity. The only what I would hear from your question is an issue of motivation. And if we continue to have more events like this, we need to continue to motivate our people such that by 2026 we still have the same vigor, we still have the same energy to continue to do what we are doing.
Have you heard in the rumors whether he's going to stand again in 2026?
I don't speak for the president, but if he did, I would not be surprised.
All right, Ismail, I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope to have you again tomorrow, because I'm sure we are going to be here, and of course, live on our AITV political shows. Thank you, Ismail. All right, that was Ismail. He's one of the key people who have been organizing, and we could call them the academias, or people who are very smart in organizing structures. This is not like any other event. This is not like any other political show you've seen in the past, but we are working so hard, hand in hand, to make sure that we have a very organized political move in the future. My job as a media personality, as a network, our job is to make sure that to bring you all the right information, the right key people to discuss on the key issues. So tonight we anticipate, just as what you see behind me today, just like what you see today, these are all people who have gathered here to discuss a number of things. So I'm joined by another key supporter of the People Power Movement. Now I want to ask you a question. Yes, sir. What have you, first of all, tell the public your names, and what have you liked most from this discussion that we've had today?
First of all, my name is, I'm called Salongo Musajja Tamwanva. People Power Mobilizer from Boston. What I liked from this setup of today, it is something new. Seeing people from different states coming here, spend 3 nights. It is not a joke. You pay for it. You paid for everything. It has shown me the heart people have for change. How soon people need the change. So another thing also, the way people have spoken out their mind, because usually it is not easy to find people speaking out their mind. But this time around, I've seen people have spoken, and they have spoken out their mind, what they want, how they want to be. Not today, but 10 years from now, where they want to be. So it is, I don't know what I can say. Right. I'm out of words, because I'm very happy about being here today. Right. I thank God that I'm about the history, which is going to be soon made in this country, or in our country back home.
Mr. Jatamamba, thank you so much for your time. Again, I'm coming back to you. This is what you see. People are celebrating, not just celebrating, but also laying a foundation for where they want to see their country. Uganda is not like any other country you've seen before. This is a unique setup that many Ugandans here in the diaspora, especially in the United States, are gathered to come and say, hey, you know what? Enough is enough. As we, the diaspora community, we need to set up. Now, the question is, after these discussions, after all these discussions from different individuals, from the president to all other key speakers who have given out their views tonight and tomorrow, will there be a difference? Are we going to see something new that we have not seen before? In the past, we have seen FDC, we have seen DP coming in the diaspora to sit with a few people and discuss on the way forward of the country. Now this time we are asking, the question is, are we expecting to see something new that we have not seen before? That is very important. That is what we need to understand. That is very unique in a different perspective. And I want to thank you. Tonight, you've heard from Lina Zadriga, the Vice Chairperson of NUP. You've heard from Honorable. So I'm joined again. Like I said, I'll be bringing different people who are very key in the struggle, and I'm joined by Professor Milton Almadi. I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. First of all, quick question. Do you think there is a future in what we have seen so far today?
Absolutely. The people seated in here today, it had the feeling of a parliament in operation. And then when the floor was opened up for people to talk, you saw how open it was. That is democracy in practice. And I hope the organizers and the leadership take what was said into heart. And if they do, and we transfer what we saw today onto the ground in Uganda, we will see how government should be operating in Uganda. I was very encouraged by what I saw today. Brilliant minds. Young people stood up and spoke openly. Can you imagine if we had this kind of discourse in Uganda, where we would be? Instead, Uganda is going backward. So this is what we need to transplant what we saw here today to the ground in Uganda.
Honorable Chagulanyi talked about unity amongst the diaspora people. Do you think that there is a glitch, or there is something that has to be done to improve on that?
Of course. First of all, when the communication was going on and off, you know, some of us wonder, is this really a technical issue, or is there some intervention? Because this is not the first time it's happened, number one. Number two, whenever you have a conference of this level, you should always expect there are going to be infiltrators. If there are no infiltrators, it means you are not doing something worthwhile. Do you agree with that? So, that there are going to be infiltrators, we should not worry about that. What we should remind the infiltrators is this: keep your eyes on the prize. This is not a personal issue. If Bobiwine wanted just personal gains, he would not be in politics. He has risked his life. He would be making a lot more financial success if he was not involved in politics. But he cares for Ugandans, and that is why he has inspired the youth. He's inspired people like myself who are elder. We are willing to go all the way to help the transition happen in Uganda. And that's, if he inspires people like me, I know how much he inspires the young people in Uganda.
He has mentioned that he'll be coming to meet leaders in the diaspora. Are you going to be part of those people who will talk with him on the way forward?
I would be honored. Every time I see him, I'm immensely inspired. Even to listen to him briefly today, I'm greatly inspired. Of course, I'll be first in line.
All right. Professor, I want to thank you so much, and I hope to have you again in other discussions. Now, this is what happens when you hear key minds, when you hear very smart and brave people coming up to speak on key different issues. Now, I'm going to be joined by a former presidential candidate for UNA and former vice president, if not mistaken. Please, come on. First of all, I would like to say, this is my second time to have a discussion with our own media, interviewing, asking her questions. So tonight, a couple of questions. From what you've heard tonight or today in this conference, where do you see NUP People Power going?
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Lydia Natolo. I reside in Irvine, California, but Boston, I always call it my home away from home. I started here 10 years ago, and here I am today again. Why NUP? NUP, for me, I feel like it's a breeding ground for a new generation of leaders, for a change for our beloved country, Uganda. The discussions are healthy, be it the negative and the positive. We need that. We've never had it. So why do I say NUP is a breeding ground of the future of Uganda? We live in the diaspora. Some people have lived here for 40 years, 50 years. I've lived here for 21 years. But when we see the struggles happening back home, when we see the injustice, when we see our own brothers and sisters being put in jail with no crime just because they wanted to vote for their leader, when we see our people that during this COVID time, their businesses are shut down, schools are shut down. In the 21st century, we don't have medicine in the hospital. We don't even have doctors in hospitals, but we have doctors who have graduated from universities in our country. That the corruption, the nepotism, the injustice, the dictatorship. There's no way that in our country we don't have a leader who can lead after 35 years. The discussions here, especially us in the diaspora, we are blessed to live in a country where there's democracy. Why do I say that? Because when our people back home speak, they are put in jail, they are shot down, they are killed, they are imprisoned. It's healthy to talk about even our struggles in the diaspora. It's healthy to say, we in the diaspora are trying to speak up, but no one is listening to us, even through NOP, right? It's healthy to talk about those things, because until we put everyone on the same table and have that healthy dialogue, a civic dialogue, because back home it doesn't happen, so that's why you see what happened here. But I'm also mindful that we have a leader who listens. Even at the end and the closing remarks, he says, we've heard your cry. Because the leaders we have home, they don't listen to us. They don't listen to us. So when you have a leader who says, it's healthy that you've spoken up, and we're going to talk about the things you've talked about, you've asked us to do different, right? All we need is to do different. We cannot do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. No.
All right, so, you mentioned about what a principal said, and of course, a number of questions have been asked in there. And how I can understand out of that is communication between diaspora and back there, and of course, the leadership, working with the people, accountability, openness. Do you think from this discussion we've had today, something is going to change, or it's going to be business as usual?
I believe something is going to change, because I am part of the leadership in the diaspora. We've been having these dialogues over and over again. We've been asking questions. We've been wanting answers. So to have it on camera, to bring it to the people, to actually have more than 100 people talk about the same thing rather than 40 or 20 or the chosen few leaders, for me, I believe it's healthy. It's healthy to talk about our brokenness. I think it's a culture from us, or I say us, like, I think there's something wrong with us. We don't want to talk about our brokenness. It's healthy to say, okay, I'm a leader, I'm a president, I'm a vice president. What have I done wrong? A lot of people take leadership roles and they feel like they can't be touched. That's the president.